Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is the second day of our hackathon, having both an online audience and a live audience in London at the university. What I wanted to do today was slightly different, along the same format that we had yesterday. So it's about your data rooms, it's about what's on Ideas Nest, it's about validating your ideas, it's about customers. But I want to be looking a little bit more at the risk and uncertainty of starting a business, because you're basically at the beginning of starting a business where it's the highest risk and highest uncertainty in what you're doing. So I want to move on a little bit onto that, not go through every single submission in the data room now, but focusing on little parts of it with a little bit more opportunity to look at the founder's idea and to give some feedback on the idea. I'm just checking my notes here. Right, we've put in place a number of breakout rooms. So anybody online who wants to catch up with anybody else online, you can message them. If you look on the chat, you can find out who they are, message them and say, can we have a chat in breakout room 4 or whatever it is. You've got a choice of breakout rooms. Please leave breakout room 1 for the presenters, because after each talk, we'll give them the opportunity. They can go into a separate breakout room at the venue or online into breakout room 1 and have a chat while we're carrying on the workshops, the hackathon. Now, just a quick recap, 1-minute recap about this event. This again is following from our Founders Festival. So we ran a Founders Festival, same venue, online and hybrid at Anglia Ruskin London University. And the festival was all about education. So it was a 1-day education event, the things to do when you start a business, things to put in place, the things to consider. This hackathon has been a follow-on from that. So the hackathon is the practical. This is all about, okay, I've got a business idea now. How can I launch a business from it? Or I've been working on it. How can I take it further? How can I find customers? How can I avoid the pitfalls that a lot of people make when launching a business? So this is what this hackathon's about. And the process has been, it hasn't just started yesterday and finishing today. The process has been over the summer since the Founders Festival. We've been signing up people to join the hackathon Ideas Nest. I'll give you a quick showing of that. So the founders put their ideas onto a nest and we look to see how we can help them. Now, a number of people have put ideas onto the nest. As we've started to help them, they realize they're not really ready and have come out of that nest. The ones that we've been working with have kept on the nest, and we've been working with them over the summer with mentors to help them validate their ideas. We've supplied them with a data room where they can upload documents that we've given them all about the customer side of their idea, because it's with any idea you want to make sure it's feasible. Can it be made? So this is so if it's not feasible, a time machine, backwards time machine, is just against the laws of physics. It's not going to be able to be made. Is it viable? So you want to make sure if it costs more to produce than you're going to sell it, it's not a viable business. So is the business viable? But the most important part is that really we're concentrating on is it desirable? Do people want it? Are people willing to pay for it? Is it something that you can sell? So that's the part that we've been concentrating on. Now, very, very briefly, we've got, let me just get my notes again from page. So a reminder, really, in terms of the sessions that we're going to have today. So there's an agenda up here, an agenda. So this is the introduction. We're talking about the framework. I'll talk a little bit more about the framework. Then at about 20 past, or just before, we'll have Janet come up. We're going to do an extended session with Janet. Really, a little bit like yesterday, we want to go through all her documents. We want to be able to frame it so people understand what the documents are. And with the other participants that we'll be going through, rather than outline what the documents are, we'll spend we'll spend more time about their idea and having a look at specific parts of their documents to see if we can help them. So we've got a number of presentations right the way up until 1 o'clock when we have a lunch break. Then we run through to just past 3 o'clock, and for Sundays for yourselves then. Okay, so before I sort of run through the sessions and the actual workshops, Jake, I don't know if you're online. I know you're, but is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. This is when Simon and I set up 12 Ronnies. The whole idea was to help businesses and founders to set up. We even thought of the label as start right, but actually, you know, you're not children. You're adults. You're people with innovative and creative ideas. So that's why we set it up, to help you get to the start line prepared and in the best possible shape to actually launch your business. Now, suddenly I realized whilst I was sitting listening to Simon talk there, I'm sitting in a van in rural Somerset. I know Mario is in Florida. He can see the space rockets taking off from Cape Canaveral. And I'm out in my van delivering food to the needy. We are living in the future, guys. We really are. There's so many opportunities for us to do things immediately globally. Think about that today. You're going to be talking to a global audience straight away. You're not going to be starting with local. You'll be starting with partners around the globe. And that is really important to remember as you're developing your ideas, as you're developing your canvas. Because all over the world, there are people driven by slightly different motives, but they're really important when it comes to your messaging. So enjoy today. I was sorry that I can't be with you today, but I really enjoyed meeting some of you yesterday, and I was reviewing the Zoom footage from yesterday and some of the testimonials. So don't forget to say to Simon what you think about the day at the end, and even better, if Simon can take a picture of you whilst you're doing it, that'd be great. So enjoy today, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Jake. Thanks very much. And actually, you mentioning about the whole global part, this gives me an opportunity to talk about the Founders Festival for next year. So the one that we're going to run, I think it's May the 4th next year, same setup. But the difference is we're going to be concentrating on the things to put in place to launch a business. So that's what we do at 12 Ronnies. We concentrate on the pre-launch or the early launch ecosystem. But we're also putting a slightly different slant on it in that we're looking at the theme of local to global. In this modern world, this digital world, it's a lot easier to get to a global audience. And we'll be developing between now and then a lot of connections for both Europe and the States, as well as further afield for next year. And we're looking at running the festival as more of a joint festival, global festival, about how we can help people start from the beginning as a global company, thinking globally. So thanks, Jake. That was that helped me put the plug in there. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. No, I realised that we're need a bit of help on that. Okay, so just want to first of all, before we get going on the sessions, just explain some of the things that we're doing and some of the things to look at on the Founders, both the Founders Festival, but also the Startup Hackathon. So as well as the agenda, everything starts, or we've started with a ideas nest. So this is the starting point. We've started this Founders Festival in. We've put a nest up on ideasnests.com, ideasnests.com. And this is the nest that we've put. It's a private nest for the Startup Hackathon, where all the ideas, all the ideas that have got through to be showcased, not all being showcased over this weekend, but to be showcased, are on here. And we can go in and we can look at any of the ideas. It's an idea that we looked at yesterday. Click into the idea, and you can get an overview of the idea. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just admitting people, so I'm dual tasking at the moment. So you can get an overview of the idea. Who might it be used for? The ideas nest, this data capture and this display of your idea has been designed by intellectual property consultants. It's been designed by people that understand the IP of an idea. So the questions that we've asked allude to what the idea is about, who it's for, not how it works, not the intellectual property. So who might it be used for, the market, what sector is it in, is there a similar idea to be found? These are precursors to the data room where we go into more detail on this. Who might your ideal customers be? How far have you developed the idea? So it's all about giving a view of the idea towards customers, as well as being able to load supporting documents and give comments. And the comments is really important. If you see an idea on there and you have an opinion, give some feedback. And the worst sort of feedback is, that's a really great idea. That just doesn't help anybody. If you believe you're a particular profile for that idea, then let the person know, I think I might actually be somebody who would be a customer of this idea, and then they can start contacting you and finding out more information. So the Ideas Nest is the place that we've started, and this is where we'll start our showcasing when we're speaking to the founders throughout the day. So that's the first place, Ideas Nests. The next thing that we've done is we've put together a community, and we have a platform at 12 Ronnies called, it's not our platform, it's on something called Mighty Networks, but it's all about founders and mentors. It's all about this startup ecosystem and introducing expertise, mentors, to people that want to start a business to help them frame these businesses. Just thinking about letting people in the room.
Simon,
Yes.
I just want you to know that I cannot see anybody who is waiting in the waiting room. So I will not be able to tell you that.
Okay. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you.
No problems.
Okay. Thank you, Nidhi. So the actual founders and mentors, this community platform, is where we get the discussions going. We put people into communities, we put the founders, we put the mentors. It's different than the idea now. This is the people aspect of it and starting to talk. Now for the Startup Hackathon, what we've got is a community for it, because founders and mentors is a network of communities. So we've got lots of different communities on here, which you'll be able to see and you'll be able to join. If we look at the Startup Hackathon community, what you'll be able to see is the events that we've been running leading up to the Startup Hackathon. You'll be able to see the videos of the events, the recordings of what they've been doing. You'll be able to talk to other people that are at the hackathon. You'll be able to message anybody. So this is all about the connections. This is all about networking. So we have a community here. And this is really important, because when starting a business, you need people to help you, not just a mentor. You want other founders to guide you, you want other people that are potentially customers. So it's all about developing and interacting with a community. So this is quite important for us. And then the other thing that we supply, and we're going to be going into today, and if you watched yesterday's session or you're part of yesterday's session, is we provide a data room. So an idea validation data room to be able to look at customers and how you're framing your ideas for customers. But what I've done is, and I'm going to put this in the chat. Here's a public data room. Anybody can access these documents and download them. So if you're online and you want to actually download these documents to have a look at, empty documents to be able to see what we're doing, I'm going to put this in the chat. Excuse me a second. We'll see in the chat. Right, I hope everybody can see that. If you click on that, that'll open up a data room where you'll be able to see the documents. So this is what we've really got for you. We've got an ideas nest. Go back. So an ideas nest for the hackathon. But also for other events, we have a group of communities where you can communicate, and we have a data room. So that's really the format that we have today with this agenda. And what we're going to do is now look at hacking some ideas. And what I mean by hacking is we're going to sit in front of the founder, find out about their idea, their motivation for their idea, the work that they've presently done on their idea towards customers, and see if we can help them. So the first one we're going to bring up, Janet, if you'd like to join us. I'll pull up your...
spots. There might be people waiting at the top.
Oh, I see. No, okay.
There was. Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Nidhi. Right, so I'm just gonna, but before I start, let me find, so yours, life skills, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the top. I think it's behind that. Yeah, behind this chat box that we've got up. So it's top right
it's
corner.
right here, yeah. So it's, let me minimize things. Plus it to be the one that's behind. Okay, you can see it here. There we go. So it is this one.
Yeah, that's the one. Life skills.
Life skills. So we're going to go into it. 1 second. Let me get my screen up and running again. Participants. Okay, Janet. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a Sunday, second day of this hackathon. Thoroughly enjoying it. Yesterday, by the way,
Yeah.
before when everybody left, what was really interesting is the end of it. Normally, the room starts to empty out straight away. But what was so wonderful from yesterday was people connected, people started networking, people got involved. A WhatsApp group was formed from a group of people there. A partnership was formed, which we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Amazing.
So there was a lot of work afterwards of people networking. So this is part of what we'd like to promote. Networking, helping, talking. So we want people to help you with your ideas. So you want some ideas, you want people to give you feedback.
I really do, yeah.
You want to know where you can find more customers for what you're doing and to be able to talk to. So both in the room, but also online. And when I mentioned this community, this is a really good place for people to get hold of you.
Yeah.
For people to ask you about your idea, to see if they're potential customers of yours.
Well, if I can share, what I actually did on the community was I used the search box to put in keywords relevant to my business. And then I connected to people who had those keywords in their profile, sent them a message, just said, can we meet up? I've really connected with Grace, with Ron. Grace has connected with me with someone who can help my business. So yeah, we're all together and we're all there to be helping each other.
That's brilliant. I didn't actually know you could search by keywords.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
fantastic. That's brilliant. That's really, really good. That's exactly how we want people, just to mix more people into the room.
And another thing I wanted to add, just on the feedback perspective, not only from the people in the room, but the people watching on Zoom and also the people watching the replay.
Yes.
I think that there can be hesitation to give people feedback because you're scared of hurting their feelings or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I always say that my ego is asleep in bed right now.
Yeah.
And it's non-existent. You can't hurt my feelings, because I need the feedback to ensure that my business is successful. I don't want to spend 9 months doing the wrong thing that no one wants.
No.
I haven't got time or patience. So I do really need the feedback, everyone in the room, everyone on Zoom. And if you're scared to give me feedback at this point, or if you maybe sleep on it, email me. I'm janet@success-all.com. So maybe you'll sleep on it tonight and say, actually, I didn't agree with that, or I love that, or whatever it was, email me.
Well, actually, that I didn't agree with that is better than I love that.
Yes, it
feedback.
is. Yes, it is.
In a nice way.
No, it really
In a
is.
nice way, it's more useful if
It really is.
if we can find things that might hold Janet up.
Yeah.
And
And
for her to solve.
if you're my audience, if like the personas I describe you in some way, then it's particularly helpful to get your feedback. If something doesn't resonate, because I'm kind of coming up with assumptions, a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
And it's good to be able to say, oh, well, that's not quite how I would act with your products. So anything like that.
Absolutely.
I need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us, how did you come up with your idea? What led you to coming up with? So we've got your idea here.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us what led you to it and tell us a little bit about it. And people can go onto the Ideas Nest and view the ideas. It's from the Startup Hackathon Private Nest. So tell us a little bit how you came up with the idea.
Sure. So the idea is life skills, and I'm thinking big, a platform, a movement, a community of education to empower. How I got there, I've been running a business for 9-10 years now, being an entrepreneur. I loved when you said you were unemployable the other day.
Yeah.
I also am, like, yeah, it just wouldn't work. But I got to a point, 2019 or so, I'd originally gone into business for childcare reasons. I had my daughter, and the business I worked in was just like, you either work or you look after your kids, one or the other. Chose my kids, which kind of pushed me into being self-employed. However, after several years of doing it, I said, where is my passion? Where is what I can talk about all day? Where is the business where I can leave a legacy, where I can impact lives, where I can have a generational impact? And I've got here to life skills over the last 2 years. So I started off with selling certain products that can have an impact on people's lives. I sell on Amazon. It's a weekly planner. I'm a lot about time management and helping business people advance in their business. So I sold that as a physical product. I launched it during the pandemic. It sold like wildfire. I was lucky to launch on Amazon during the pandemic. Then I moved into more digital products because logistics of shipping during the pandemic was really difficult. So I moved to digital products where I can just send you the file, and started selling on KDP, and was again thinking, what are the subjects that I'm passionate about? What are the subjects that have had an impact on me in my life? I've had very difficult family situations and also some challenges while I was growing up as well, in areas like self-confidence and self-esteem. When I started validating self-confidence and self-esteem using Google Analytics, using the Amazon search bar, I saw that there was a huge audience looking for this, searching for this information, and therefore there was an area where I could set up. I then set up a meetup group about 5 months ago, where I've been dropping these subjects into the meetup groups. My Zoom calls usually have about 15 participants. When I put self-confidence and self-esteem into my meetup group, I had 150 participants on my Zoom meeting. So I was like, okay, I'm onto something. People were thanking me before the meeting had even taken place. Thank you for covering these subjects. We're really suffering. During the meeting, they were pouring out all the reasons that their self-confidence and self-esteem had been impacted. And after the meeting, I was getting that session really changed my life kind of messages. Again, that helped me understand that I was onto something. So using all my idea, validation, my testing and refining, I came up with this platform. It's based on what people need, what they're searching for. I'm just working out exactly how to deliver it to them in the way that they need it.
And I can actually relate to this lack of confidence and self-esteem, because that is one of the major stumbling blocks for entrepreneurs.
It really is, yeah.
And so many that I deal with, not really sure I'm the right person to start at this. I don't have the personality. You look at these entrepreneurs, these Jeff Bezoses and these Elon Musks and all of these people in Silicon Valley, and I'm not one of them. And,
I hear it all the time.
and it leads into the fear of starting a business.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a whole topic there that needs exploring. Another surprising thing I found with my meetups was I've always very much targeted my marketing, how I promote the groups in quite a feminine way, expecting my audience to be predominantly female. However, I'm getting about 20–25% men. And the most interesting one was I hold women's circles, in-person meetings, again, to validate my idea. But a guy messaged me and he was like, well, I've got these problems. Can I come to your women's circle? And at first I was like, well, it's a women's circle. Yeah. But then I also saw, okay, if you're that in need of this help as a man, that could potentially be a niche that is untapped as well, where I could bring a man on board with that lived experience and not being able to talk about your self-esteem and self-confidence from a man's perspective. So I'm not excluding men.
No.
There's an audience actually there.
No, we've, I mean, it's a little bit like with our communities here. If I just go back on here. Now, I've got some communities that are in secret that are about to be set up, so they're not in the public view. With people holding one of them here, Founders Beliefs. It's all there's a niche for people that don't have self-confidence and have fear of starting. Maybe that's something you can help people with in that community. Exactly. with events, and maybe your platform is something that can potentially help them.
Yeah.
We're about to launch a community for female founders. The platform's open to founders of all gender, etc., etc. But there's also, we're a group of communities where people want to affiliate together. And so we'll be launching that this autumn, a female founders community within Founders and Mentors. So there's a whole ecosystem out there of problems to solve and to help.
It really is.
So I'm going to get into your data room. Now, remember yesterday we going in through the data room. So not the public validation data room now, but everybody sees there. Well, go back, data rooms, validation data rooms. Lots on here.
So Janet Martin.
Now, one of the reasons I wanted to show you your data room first is a little bit like yesterday with Grace. You've got a tidy room.
I tried my best.
And it just makes it so much easier for people to understand what's in your data room. You've got a nice document summary here that if I click into, you've filled in the documents. I know what you've filled in. I know what's been looked at and what hasn't been looked at. So it just makes it really, really clear for anybody looking at your data and the experience you've done. So well done, nice tidy room. You've also filled in some excellent documents in terms of how they look and how they're structured. So yesterday, we did a lot of concentration on the lean canvas, which is, of the two canvases we're putting forward, is my favorite. The business model canvas is the other. You've filled in both. So I'm going to go through your business model canvas as well. Very, very quickly, let me show your lean canvas. So we very quickly, canvases completed lean canvas. Now I understand from yesterday, I can move the screen around. It was better if I moved it there. Bigger. No, doesn't make it any bigger than that. Nearly online, can you see the problem part of the canvas?
Yes, very clearly.
Very clearly, fantastic. Okay, so canvas, so the problem that you're addressing, the customer problem that you're focusing on, you've listed two main problems. If you'd like to just talk about those.
Sure, it's mainly that we're coming out of the school system without the life skills that we're needing to survive, especially for the future generations. So my kids are 7 and 9, and in school they're learning pretty much what I learned, maybe just with a digital screen. Where's the self-esteem? Where's the self-confidence? Where's the creative expression? Where's the financial literacy? As adults, we're coming into life not knowing how to manage our money, and with the way the world's changing, with potentially recession coming up, that's what I think we should be learning and needing. So the platform is meeting that need, that we come out of the education system with life skills, with the things that we need to survive in modern life.
Brilliant. I'm just checking that I'm on course for the right agenda here. Okay, so how do people do it now? How do they address now? I mean, because what do people do now? What are the alternatives?
There's loads of ways to do it. So I looked at my online competition. I consider Udemy and even YouTube an alternative. So you can go on YouTube and Google, self-esteem, and you'll get this content. You can go to books. You can go to so many places. However, it has not been brought together in a way that empowers the user. So I want to put together the topics that when you finish the experience, you are better than when you started. You've learned something new, you've learned life skills, and you're impacting potentially generations.
Fabulous, fabulous. And so that's that solution of yours that you've been talking about. What's your proposition? What's your define, I mean, you've got a nice simple proposition. I like this.
So it's a new way to learn, to make you feel better, grow faster, and go further. So that's what I want people to come out of it. Like, we can come out of school, even university, I've got a master's degree, and not have those sensations. So it's really about being comfortable with yourself, accepting yourself, finding your vocation in life, and learning these skills. Even difficult conversations is another one that comes up in my meetup groups. Getting feedback and being all right with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a skill that we have to learn. Your instant reaction is to protect yourself.
Yeah, of course, it's your idea, it's your baby as such. you don't want anyone criticizing it.
And I've had to learn that. It's only like the last couple of years that I've not only been listening to my customers, but also hearing what they're saying. I've had to hear things 6 times recently before it's, resonated and sunk in. So it's teaching people these kind of skills.
No, that's brilliant. So it's the headspace of education.
That's right. Yeah, because Headspace has impacted my life in a big way. So I've been meditating every day with Headspace, and you sleep better. You're more present and in the moment. So if I'm able to teach the same skills through my app, so Headspace, I've got my eyes all over them. Yeah. I follow the CEO. I listen to all his podcasts. I feel that I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, someone's out there.
Someone's out there doing it. And in terms of the key metrics. What's the number one metric that would tell you you're on the right track?
So there's people signing up, exchanging money for the service.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's it. Because a lot of people, well, it's a level of interest. If you're actually really early stage, and you're just thinking about an idea, it might be your early metric is the number of people that have given their email address to show interest. You're a little bit further on here. So yeah, quite right. You want people signing up. Do you have an unfair advantage?
I really do.
You do? This is brilliant. I love it when somebody has an unfair advantage.
So I feel that my competitors are quite stagnant and quite big machines. And I feel that me doing it on my own makes me quite lean and nimble. So I can react to demand, I can react to customer feedback, and I can move quickly, pivot easily.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I'm signed up to a program through London South Bank University, which gives me access to the most modern technology out there. So another advantage, I've got AR, I've got VR, they've got a 3D printer, they're doing volumetric capture. So I can do content in a way that my competitors can't with the equipment that I typically wouldn't have any access to due to funding. So I think being able to move quickly with the latest technology is putting me in a unique position.
But could anybody else do this? Could anybody, if they thought they came across or they had the same idea, is there anybody out there that could do this?
They could, but they're not going to knock it out of the park like I am.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's being an entrepreneur. There's very few things that other people can't do. A more developed business can put themselves in a position of protection. So trying to compete with Facebook's pretty difficult now. They've got a moat around them. They've got enough users. So trying to produce another Facebook's really hard work. But no, I like it. You're the unfair advantage, the entrepreneur.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Which is really good. Now, in terms of let me move this down or away. Customer segments. Yeah. Which is sort of a key part of what we're looking at here. Oh, just let somebody else in. Talk us through your segments briefly, the segments.
So this is totally different than what I thought it would be, and has come out of my meetup groups. Who's attending the online ones and in the in-person ones? It's different than I thought it would be. And what it is it's millennials, it's 80% female. They're professionals, young professionals, and they're struggling with mental health. I don't feel like I've got enough friends. The body confidence is super low. So I do quite a lot with body image with females. And there's a recent survey that had ridiculous stats of how many women are just happy with their bodies, and it's very few. So they're all suffering from these similar experiences.
And we saw one of the ideas addressing that embrace body yesterday.
How they're embracing it is yes.
Yeah. But it's no.
There's an issue there.
Yes. And then the channels to get to them, because this is, in many ways, a lot of people are very comfortable in trying to put this down here and who they think their segments are before they're testing. But once we get to testing to see if there's validation, is this real? Are these assumptions accurate? They don't know how to get to. So I get so many times when I don't know how to test my ideas because I can't get to them. I can't get to the people I want to target. If you can't get to the people who you want to target about finding if they're interested, how are you going to sell to them? So this is really important to give some thoughts about the channels. So talk us through your channels.
So last 5-6 months, I've been building my own community. I've been building it on Meetup. I've got 1,200, 1,300 on there that I can message. I have a reader magnet. So I knew that I wanted to build towards this idea. So I have an ebook, 99p on Amazon, and that's getting people into my funnel to build my email database. And I know that they're already interested in this product because the book is called Finding Yourself, and it's got all the keywords that I found.
It's not just that, they put some money down. It's
It, yeah, it sells every day.
Yeah.
It sells every day. So people are interested in these topics. So my current community is going to be my first point. I've got their email addresses, and we'll be able to contact them. Then social media. I'm really good at paid ads. So I use Facebook ads already. And Facebook ads are great because I can niche down, and I know what to niche down to because I've been listening to my community.
How much do you spend on Facebook ads?
About 20 quid.
Yeah.
I'm just dabbling.
Yeah. Perfect. It's too many people think, oh, I've got to spend a lot of money, put a budget aside. You're experimenting now. Entrepreneurs are experimenters. And so
20 quid, and then all the data I get back, I'll do A/B testing. I'll do 3 ads for 20 quid. I actually have, you were mentioning it earlier, I have 90% of my audience in the United States. So although I'm a Londoner, I did my MBA in the States, and I lived and worked in New York for a good few years. So I know that market, and I know which cities to target and that sort of thing.
This whole local to global that we'll be doing next year, it's so much easier than it once was. So that's fabulous. Now, rather than concentrate, I want to flip now to your business model canvas and talk to people about the difference, because we haven't touched on business model canvas yet. This, what's your business model canvas? Completed business model canvas, and I'll make it a bit bigger. 1 second.
It's behind this box.
Hopefully everybody can see that. If you can't, let us know, Nidhi. But let's have a look at your business
It's
model.
visible online, Simon. Otherwise, I will give you a shout.
Thank you. Perfect. Thanks, Nidhi. So the main difference between the business model canvas and what you have here and the lean canvas is the lean canvas has been designed for a slightly earlier stage. So it's very much the idea stage, and it's for an entrepreneur. The business model canvas, although it can be equally used at the early stage, is a representation of a business plan, is a representation of the different things you would put into a business plan to make your business work. So at any stage that you're running a business, you could put it into the business model canvas. Some of the things for the idea for the lean canvas, they're not suitable. Some of the things for the actual, if you're running a business for the lean canvas. So it's a little bit more of an overview, but less focused on the entrepreneur side. So again, you're starting here with partners. If you've got a business that's up and running, then you're already looking at the key partners. If you're just playing with the idea at the moment, you're trying to validate with customers first of all, than partners. So because you're now you're much further along the line, you've got an idea of your partners here, haven't you? So you've got a whole list. This is great.
A lot of people, yeah.
This is great. You've got a whole list of partners. You've got a whole list of activities to do.
Mm-hmm.
You've got resources here. So this is a much clearer view of your business as opposed to your idea. That's one of the main differences. If you can have a go at doing both of them, it's really good. It's not one or the other. If you pass the idea, completely pass the idea stage, then you don't really need the lean canvas so much. The business model canvas will be more than enough. But if you're at the idea stage, do both. But it's often good to work off the next steps of the lean canvas if you're really early stage with your idea. Again, it's all back. Your value proposition is important right at the beginning, as it is to any stage of your business. Your customer relationships, again here, the customer segments. So it's very, very similar. And whereas on the lean canvas, if you've noticed, I haven't really focused on the lean canvases about anybody's cost structure or revenue streams. That's not really the purpose of this hackathon, to really get into the financial planning side of this. But on the business model canvas, you want to put a little bit more focus on this, because this is a bit more business orientated than idea orientated here. So that's really for the audience. So you filled this in really well. This is a very, very good example of a business model canvas. It's completed with all the different steps, with the cost structure, the revenue streams. Is there anything you want to highlight on this canvas? I can scroll that down. Or...
Yeah, let's talk about the partnerships, because even writing this list, I've blown myself away, because as entrepreneurs, we can't do it alone. So I'm getting every bit of help I can out there, particularly universities. So Lorraine, who's in the room here, invited us to share ideas with students. And even with this university, I'm lucky enough that where I'm located, I've got 3 universities that I can go to within a bike ride. So London South Bank has poured heaps of money, energy, resources into me. They're building my minimum viable product. A team of students will build it in October. I have their Business Solution Centre analysing my cost structure and my model. I have a board that will start in October, and that's where I'm acting like a big business, but to have a board of advisors, 5 people from major corporations with lots of experience that will help me build and launch my business. At Goldsmiths, I have the director of the Masters in Marketing and Technology course, who will give me as a case study to the students, and they're going to come up with marketing ideas. What I've called my business life skills, I put it together in 20 minutes just for the platform, but now we really need to think about, what does the customer want it to be called? What colors do they want to see? What kind of branding do they need to make it something? And I can't do that myself. Even though I do marketing, I need to step out, give it to someone, let them analyze my audience. So I've got investment. My board is sponsored by MasterCard. I'm entering a program for Black female entrepreneurs that's sponsored by JP Morgan. So I'm just proving that people believe in me and that there's a team and a structure in place to help me do this, because I can't do it alone.
And what's really clear is Janet's developed her idea, not just thought about the idea, but is developing the business for her idea, the contacts, the partnerships, the whole structure behind it. And I wanted to have a quick look at your personas.
Yeah.
Which, any preferred one to start?
Let's do the business one, because that's new and I got all excited about that. So the B2B, that one.
B2B.
Yeah.
Let me enlarge that.
What I've done here is, this is an actual person. So I love to do actual real people instead of someone that I can imagine, because I can stalk them. So I was on his LinkedIn, I was on his Twitter, I listened to his podcast on the train on the way here. I know that he's got a kid the same age as mine. And I just know a lot about this guy because it's a real person. He's the CEO and founder of BetterHelp. They are an online platform that offers therapy. And I'm having a therapist on board for my team. And what I've done is that therapy and what I'm offering can live side by side without cannibalizing each other. So he's the kind of person that I want to reach out to for partnerships. Partnerships are going to be really key to my business. And he's talked about how he's built his business, his mission, his vision, his goals in life, perfectly aligned with what I'm doing. So he's who I will target in the...
That's just perfect. You've got somebody in mind, you've got somebody
it's
to
a real
target,
person.
it's a real person. He's got a name.
Yes. I found out his age on Google.
Yeah. That's the sort of research you have to do. And then find, if you can find more of him.
Yeah, there is more.
And then there'll be other customer personas and find more of them. And eventually you've got a whole group of customer personas.
Yeah.
And you know where to find them, you know what motivates them, you know how to message them.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good profile.
Thanks.
I'm going to skip a couple of things,
okay.
Because you're well ahead of the curve to a lot of people here, and move on to your actual experiments.
Yeah, that's a cool
so
one.
Your
test card, 2 down.
This one here?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this.
So I did a test specifically for the hackathon. I built a landing page. And so with this idea of the platform I had, I've not got anything to show people, but I did one weekend where I had 2 meetups. I had one online and one in person. I host women's circles where we talk about self-confidence, self-esteem. So they're already there. Designed the landing page. Simon had a quick look at it.
Yeah, no, very good.
And my
very good.
My test was to see what percentage of email addresses I could capture. All I've said to them is I'm thinking of building this platform. We'll bring together this kind of content. you want to join? Do you want to find out about it? I've got a ticker on my landing page that says it will launch in March, made up the date.
But what's great about this is it's simple.
Yeah.
But Jen's collecting data here. This isn't conceptual. This is engaging with customers. You've got that landing page, somebody's got to find it. So you've got to send it to somebody. So you've got to work out your Aaron or whatever, whoever you're sending it to, or whoever, to give some feedback. So your customers, and you're actually collecting data and you're measuring. So you're measuring the percentage, the number of email addresses.
Yeah, so I looked at industry standards of sign-ups and I said, okay, let's push it up a little bit. So I said 10% of people that I tell about the platform over that weekend, I wanted to sign up.
And I'm really glad you haven't put in 90%, because that just doesn't happen unless you've got a particular B2B offering where there's only 6 potential customers in your market, and if you've only got 10, one of the 6 then that's interested, that's not really a great business to base it on. But here, that's a really high percentage.
It is, it's well above industry standards.
Yeah, well above industry standards. So you don't have to think, oh, I must put a really high percentage here. Try and find out what the industry standard is. Try and beat that industry standard. That's really what you're looking for, for customer interest. But a simple experiment. And your learnings, do we have learnings?
Right above it. That's it.
So it matches, the learning card now matches your tests. This is what's so good about this. So you got your 10%. That's what you believed would happen.
Yeah, I got a lot.
You got a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, so in person with the Women's Circle, there's something powerful about being in person with someone. So even yesterday, hearing about everyone's ideas, I not only bought into their idea, I bought into them as well. So when people meet me and I tell them my story and we spend an hour together, the people in person had left their home already. So I already knew that they were invested in some way.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the validation, isn't it? It's about getting people to do something. It's customer behavior, not what they say. This is the weakness of surveys at the really early stage, in that if you send somebody a survey and they do fill it in, they're more likely to be nice to you. It's a really nice idea.
Yeah.
Whether they're interested, they haven't thought whether they're interested and they'll buy it. So people are nice, or they just quickly fill in the questions.
So it could have been a pressure of not wanting to say no to me, to my face, the people in person. Online, I thought they can hide easier and not have to do it. So that gave me a bit of a better indication.
But if they're going to turn up,
yes,
they're
already invested.
They're fairly invested to that. And so what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm already doing it. So I'm using the facilities at South Bank to record some green screen videos. And because I want to be quite technology advanced, I'm doing some fake AR in there. And those will be promoted online. People won't have a chance to get to know me in person, but in the videos, I'll be there. How many of them will sign up for this thing that doesn't exist yet, just based on these videos that I'm creating? And I'll promote them with paid ads, my 20 quid or whatever.
Brilliant. So that's the test card. Was it? That was.
That's the learn.
I'm not going to do your value proposition canvas. Do some others. I like your value proposition canvas. It's very much a key to it. But we have a look at your. Did you have to put the data in?
Yeah. So you can see the numbers of people that I.
Simon, I have a question, if you don't mind, for Janet.
Yes, please.
So Janet, you said you will put the videos for like £20. I did not quite understand. So when you say you will put the videos for £20, can you confirm that that's what you said? That's what you meant, right?
Yeah, so I will invest £20 worth of paid advertising into promoting my business.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so your experiments, you've run 2 experiments here. So talk us through your card here. And it's simple. The nice thing is this is really simple and clear to understand. You've got data now. Data. Sign up to the landing page. There was 6 people at the Women's Circles and 5 of them signed up. What I found with the Women's Circles when I hosted them, I've done 2 now. The second one I had to shut it down because I can only fit a certain amount of people and too many people are RSVPing. So again, I'm just proving that there's demand. There's more demand than I can cope with, and they were all over it. They really liked it. And then this is one of my Zoom meetings, my meetups online, and it was on the topics of
self-discovery and self-development. So again, they're already kind of into the topics, and 5 out of the 19. I feel that this is maybe a better example of the kind of sign up I might be able to expect, because I've already shown that this audience is interested. So with the Facebook ads, I really niche down and I'll put keywords in, so I'm reaching the right people, and then we see how many they can sign up.
This is really, really good. It's a really good example of preparing all of this. And to say that so the Founders and Mentors platform, where we've got the community, when most people join us as founders, when they join, I send them a quick message saying, how can I help you? And I mentioned this yesterday. Almost everybody says, I'm looking for money, I'm looking for investment, I'm looking for which I sort of decode to, so you're looking for somebody else's hard-earned money to invest or fund your great idea you can't prove anybody wants. I don't actually say that, I think that, and then I send them off to another community that's called Investment Ready, which sends them back to say they're not ready, and then I can start the conversation that they need to do the sorts of things that you're doing here. But if you do actually need money to build what you're doing, rather than the usual pitch to investors, which I've got this really great idea and it's going to disrupt this market and the penetration is going to be this, and you're going to get 10 times return in 3 years, yada, 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 it's fantasy. If you come with a pitch based on work you've done, showing you're an entrepreneur, because what they're thin slicing is she entrepreneurial? Has she got what it takes to find customers? So a lot of their thin slicing is about the person and less about the idea. So if they're seeing that you've done that, you can actually communicate with customers and collect data, and you understand them and the route, they're much more likely then to think, this is where, if they like the idea and it's in their sector and all of those things, it's worth putting some money in or funding these types of things. So actually having raw data is really key than just things laid out on canvases and things like this. Things laid out on canvases show that you're understanding that all shit, but what you really want to get to is the stage of running tests.
Well, I think the stronger test than this is my actual reader magnet that's been going for a few months. That fascinates me because I don't even put any advertising to it. And just because I put the right keywords and it's around the right topic, people are buying it and exchanging their email address for more information from me. So that's a really good one. But this one was a specific, like it helped me to create the landing page, which I'd not done before. And now I'm ready to drive more.
And it's got you moving on to, no, that's fabulous. So any questions now, both online and from the audience about Janet's idea, about how she's gone about doing it, about the data she's collecting, about her as an entrepreneur, and any questions from the audience?
I must say, well done.
Oh, thank you.
I really like what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emma.
I've got something. I should probably put my hand up, but I can't figure out how to do that yet. Anyway, I think it's a brilliant idea. It sounds, I feel like I want to sign up to one of the meetups because it seems so needed, so necessary. So what this might be a really stupid question, but what is the product or the service?
Not a stupid question at all. It's going to be an education platform, so it will do, courses, audio, PDFs, worksheets, live in-person events. I'm building a whole thing.
Like a world.
Yeah, the minimum viable product. What I've got from my community is they want a community of like-minded individuals. They want it on demand. They've been talking a lot about having audio as well. I thought it would be video delivery contents, like a recorded Zoom or something like that. But they're saying, like, we really don't have time to watch you. We want to listen to you.
Podcasts in the community, yeah.
Yeah, or even like a walk-in meditation might work really well. I've dropped a bit of holistic into there, and I talked about chakras at the last event that I did, and they were like, yeah, we really want to learn about that sort of thing. So a very holistic platform engages you in topics that take your life, take your well-being to the next level. Similar to Udemy, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So Headspace, maybe Udemy meets Headspace.
Okay, awesome. So they would be paid for kind of app or accessing like an event that would be paid for, or
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
some of it be free, or how?
I'm still working it out so that I can either
Yeah.
do a premium model where you get a free week or something like that. I've got a few ideas. I'm working them out with Southbank, exactly what the business model will be. But right now I've got to the stage where I've got this big idea. Is anyone interested? And we're building exactly what that would be with the community. I talk about democratizing education, and that's another thing that I see with education in general, especially watching my kids in primary school. What choice do I as a parent have in what they're learning, and what choice do they even have in what they learn? No one's really asking them. No one asks kids, what do you want to learn at the moment? Because they want to learn coding and they want to learn about animals, but that's not on the curriculum.
Yeah.
So even us as adults, what do we want to learn? What are we struggling with that we need to overcome? Is something that I want to do.
No, wonderful. Sorry, I'm just, we're getting
Simon, I've got a question here, a very good question from Alyssa. It's, I don't know whether it's for you or for Janet, but it's
for
the
me.
question. Okay, so what,
Actually.
yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. That's why I said I'm not sure if, but it's what is considered a good amount of data collection?
Okay, I'll sort of start with, this is one of those questions, how long's a piece of string? It really depends on what your hypothesis is, who you're targeting, and the actual test itself. So if it's a B2B idea and you've only got a few customers, then you're not going to collect as much numbers of data. The data might be richer in depth, but you're not going to collect as many. If you're selling to a B2C with a much bigger audience, then you'd expect to collect some more numbers. But what is the right number is really, really difficult. So Chris, we're putting together a validation platform on pre-order, and Chris has got a strong background, well, a very distinguished background in publishing in the books industry. And we talked about on pre-orders, what would be pre-orders, what would be a good indicator to a publisher that this is a great idea? And Chris said, if you got 1,000 pre-orders,
Pretty good.
The publisher would snap you up now.
It proves that you've got interest beyond your friends and family.
Yeah, and that's actually the key to it. Interest beyond a very small set of people. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go, or not, unfortunately, we'll have to go on to the next one. Janet, thank you so,
You're very welcome.
so
and I've
much.
said that anyone can email me if you don't want to bring it out to the big platform. You've got ideas or feedback, it helps.
We also have a meeting room in there. I'm
Yeah,
not sure whether anybody here, but you're welcome to go in and chat to Janet or chat a bit later. But online, it's meeting room, it's breakout room 1.
Okay.
So it might be worth you just seeing if
Okay,
anyone's in breakout room 1. So
Thank you, everyone.
Great. That was a really, really good example of what we're looking to do here in the validation. So next we've got Sachin. Sachin, are you there?
Yes.
Right, let me prepare your.
Can you see me?
Yeah, let me just. Yeah, you can speak. I'm just setting up to find its home as a learning.
Yeah. So Simon, I guess like my idea is little different than what it was there on the board. So what I would suggest is in the data room, I have one entire document with the proposal. So if you can open that, I guess it will be a good start.
Okay, well, what I want to start with, data room, is I want to start your idea itself. So
I guess that will be better.
You put it on here.
Yes.
What I wanted to know is if you could let people know, Sachin, we've only got 20 minutes in total for this.
Sure.
In terms of going through your data room and everything. So could you give us a brief idea of your idea and how you came up with it?
Yes. So this idea, I guess, like home as a learning space, I consider it's a really big entire chunk of different things which I was planning to put together. But later I thought like I should focus on only one part of it, and which I'll be talking today. And that particular component is library related aspect. So in this entire umbrella, there's like only one chunk which I want to focus today. That is library part of it. So let me give just 1 minute introduction of what that particular idea is. So just to start with, like a couple of months earlier, I came across one research which was published by Australian Open University, and it was about books. And the outcome of that entire research was that we need at least 80 books in our home library if you want to make sure that it is impacting children and it is affecting their education altogether. Well, like that idea was really stuck me. And then when I started thinking about it, as a parent of 4-year twins, I realized there are like at least 3 problems which I'll be facing. First is like how to identify what those 80 books will be. Second, where to store all those 80 books. And third important thing, how much it will cost me. So this 3 problem, I thought like I should do something. As I am facing it as a parent, there might be some other parents who might be thinking about the same problem. So I decided to do something for that. And this particular idea is all about that. And I named it Live for Small. Well, in this home as a learning space, under that, I guess this is one product, but there are other 6 products which I had planned under this. But today I'll speak only about Live for Small. So Live for Small is library for smalls. So that particular idea, I'm thinking that I'll be creating a recycler based economy, and in that I'll just try to provide a facility through which parent can access books without paying any money. It's simply they will donate their 5 books, and against that they will get another 25 books, and those books will be circulated within the closed community. That is a core idea which I'll be working on. And this particular product will be, certainly there will be online facility for that. There will be delivery facilities with it. The other important thing is books will be given based on the age group of that particular child. So this is a kind of library facility, a community library facility, which I'm planning to build.
Okay, I understand. No, that's a good overview. My first comment before we go into your data room and the detail of it is, I think it's a really good decision you've made not to go in really broad with your whole home as a learning space, and that you focused on a particular part, the Live for Small part, and to build out from there. I've seen so many entrepreneurs that come up with a very wide-ranging idea to solve a lot of humanity's problems, and it's very, very hard to get them off the ground. It's what's much easier to get off the ground is it's a narrow idea as part of something bigger, but a narrow idea to a very focused audience or in a very focused geography to start with. It's being able to prove it's small and build from there, rather, because it takes a lot of resources to build big from the beginning. So I do like that approach that you cut your main idea down into one of the constituent parts. So thank you.
Sachin, I've got an early bird question for you, if you don't mind.
Please. No, not at all, please.
Okay, so the first question is, I really love the idea. So it's not a question, I'm just complimenting it. So I donate 5 books, but I get 25 books. Am I right?
Yes.
How will you make profit in all of that?
Yes. So I'll come to entire business idea in a while. But what I'll do is I'll just very quickly walk you through the customer journey first, and then I'll come to the business idea about the how this entire business model works.
So Sachin, would you like to go through your business model?
So Simon, there is one folder called completed. In that I have created a complete document. Yes.
Okay,
So there is a Word document in it, a proposal, and it has everything, because like I was finding it too difficult to put it in the those PDFs. So I created an entire document. It's like a very long 21-page document, but it has everything in it.
I haven't seen this before, but this is okay. Let's.
Yeah.
We haven't got that long to go through. We've got another sort of 10 minutes.
Yes. So what I would do is then there is one. If you go to same folder, there is customer journey. In the same folder, that completed folder. Okay. The work in progress. Yes, that customer journey document. Yes, I guess.
Right, opening it now. It's for some reason taking me to open.
Yeah. So I'll start explaining. So basically, every customer will just donate 5 books, and then when they donate those 5 books, those will be made available to all other customers. So it will be available on the
Is that
portal.
phone buzzing? A second. I think I can hear a phone buzzing.
Ah,
No. You don't need to turn your sound off. We can't hear you, Session. Just turn your phone off, but come back online, Session. I think we've lost him. But what we've got here looks like what Session's done is rather than follow the format that we've put out here, he's explaining his idea along the lines that we're looking at the customer journey.
yes. So I'm really sorry, Simon. I guess like I'm completely messed up today. Really sorry for this. But very quickly, so customers will donate 5 books. Those 5 books will be available on the portal. From there, all other customers can simply figure out like which books they want to have for themselves, and they basically like it will be added to their wish list. And after every 15 days, those books will be circulated. So if I have, let's say, I have added 5 books in my wish list, those books will be delivered to me on after every 15 days. So that is how this particular cycle will work. Well, now coming to that particular business model. So there are 2 kind of revenue models here. The first thing is like if somebody want to have the home deliveries of books, then for that we'll be charging them some small amount. So that is the first part.
Who you're targeting?
Sorry?
Who are you targeting? Who's your customer groups? Who's your customer segments?
Yeah. So this is like these are the parents of children who are between age group 0 to 8 years.
So you're targeting the parents of 0 to 8-year-old children. Do you know the channels you can contact them? Do you know? I mean, have you got any personas for them that we can understand?
Yeah. So actually, I interviewed few parents. So the persona is basically I'm looking for parents who are firstly a mid-level education, who are having somebody who is like too busy, because I consider that the home delivery is something which will be required for candidates who are little occupied. So that kind of customers I'm looking for. And thirdly, mostly the focus is on parents who feel that they should have book libraries in their home during early years itself. So that is the kind of parent group I'm looking for.
Can anyone else do this idea? Do you have an unfair advantage?
Can I just add one thing? Like the first question, I just want to complete that about the business model. So just like very quickly, I'll just complete that. So the first point I was mentioning about that for delivery, there will be charges. Second important point is that these books, like after circulation, so let's say we donate 5 books, those are circulated within that particular group of people. And then after that, those books will be sold, and then through that revenue will be generated. So it's something similar to what Zipit or the World of Books they are doing. So they do collect books, and after that they recycle it. So might be selling it or like giving it to the book owners again. So that the same thing, I guess, will be doing here. So it's the same business model which we are replicating. But third most important stream of revenue will be coming from the data which we are collecting through this particular platform. So we will get to know a targeted customer information, which we will use for suggesting all other related products. So it could be, let's say, child is in one particular age group, and then let's say they might be going to schools, and for that purpose they'll be needing certain things. So we'll be proposing those products. So these 3 revenue models are there.
What I think, because the business models aren't really of the main concern, what we have here. Have you got some validation data?
Validation data, I guess, like I have done it in the sense I just did interviews. Well, like it's not there in that particular document, but I conducted 6 interviews, and I just like got to understand more about that. And based on that, actually, I refined this particular idea. So don't have actual data over here, because those were like transcripts which I had collected. So I guess.
I've got a question for you from Sarah. So how
Yeah.
do you know where the books are at any one time?
Sorry, can you Come
Yes,
again?
I can. Yeah. How do you know where the books are at any one time?
Book are at any one time in this sense? I'm still not clear with the question actually. If you can paraphrase for me, please.
Do you
Yeah.
do you know who the books, who they're with, where they are? Are they
Ah,
posted? Are they
yes. So yeah.
lost?
So right. So there will be an online platform through which we will handle it. And in that online platform, we'll get to know who is having which books and then how long they will be carrying it. So everything will be maintained over there.
And have you worked out the costs of your online platform and to develop your online platform?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any data you can show us or any tests that you've run? Because this is all about validating with customers. This is what this startup hackathon's about.
Yeah.
And
So
concepts.
yeah. So I guess in my proposal, I guess there are all the documents like I have put over there. So if you can just go to that document, then I guess
Which documents?
no, yeah. So in that completed folder, that project document, I have all the canvases over there. So if we can just very quickly, yeah, in that proposal document. Yes. Yeah.
So take us to show us some data. Whereabouts are you looking to go?
I guess like customer data is those are transcripts, so I haven't added here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would like to go through the canvases might be, or it will be difficult to go through this document.
Difficult to see the canvases in a laid out document, unfortunately, to be able to compare things. So your value proposition, how does that match with your customer segments?
Yeah.
Because
So
what we generally do is, if I just come back a little bit to your data room.
yeah.
And I can't actually.
So you would prefer it in this particular format, I know, but it was
here. So how things match. I think probably what's best to do, I think it's going to be quite difficult for us to analyze your document. Maybe if there's people have got questions or you want to explain a little bit more about your idea, then for the remaining couple of minutes.
Sure. So I guess this particular idea is based on two important things. One part is this is specifically for early years education, and it will be for children. So when the research has established that if you want to have a better education, or if we expect students to do better in the schools, they should get access to books in the early years. So basically, this entire idea will be revolving around that need. Secondly, about the circular economy. So right now, I guess like when I say that like the 80 books are required in one household, there are like multiple questions which come to our mind where those books will come from. If every household starts storing 80 books, then what will they do? The second important problem is that milestones are increasing or changing very often or very fast in the early years. In the sense, initial first years, after every 2 months, milestone change. So the requirement of books also change accordingly. And then it gets very difficult to have those relevant books in the home. So to address these two important things, to make sure that like we create foundation for good education, and secondly, to make sure that books are there, but those are just not simply lying in our drawers. So
just how do you know they're lying in drawers? I mean, what we're getting at here is these are assumptions, and we want to test the assumptions. This is all about data and testing assumptions. So these the problems that you've outlined, are you able to test these hypotheses?
Yes. So so I just spoke to customers, and then they're based on those interactions, I realized there are like 2-3 things which customers are really looking for. So the first problem which I mentioned about that where will they get access to these books, and how will they sort or figure out like which 80 books to be there in the house. So that the biggest thing which I get to know from the parents, and for that purpose only, I thought that it should be more, instead of like one parent deciding which books to purchase, it will be good if multiple parents collectively can decide that. And how it will be done is like based on whatever books I purchased, I'll purchase my first 5 best books, and those I'll donate. So
We're
with this, there will be a collective intelligence which is coming in place.
Sachin, we're about out of time now. Is there any pressing questions that people have? I'm going to put you, if you could go to room 1. There's a breakout room 1, and anybody online can then ask you questions.
Sure. And Simon, like, I guess I realized that, like, I guess it was not in a format which we were expecting, but make sure that like that particular formats are filled in. This document is converted to that and will be made available.
Okay, thank you, Sachin. Thank you very much. Thank you. And what that's actually a sort of a demonstration of as well is it's hard with business plans, which is the usual way of putting this together. It's a slightly different way of doing it. It's hard with business plans to make comparisons, and it's hard with business plans to visually see things because you've got documents lined up and it's sequentially. So what we've looked to do with this hackathon is put them into PDFs, put them into spreadsheets where you can see the data next to each other, just so it's easy. All of that can then be transferred into a business plan, as Sachin's done there, for instance, investors like to read through business plans and pitch decks rather than a whole group of PDFs. So Sachin sort of almost jumped to stage and put his things into the business plan, and I think he said he's going to now go back and reconstruct it into his data room. Thank you very much, Sachin. So we're on next. We're rattling through before lunch. Vamo, we've got you up next. Now I'm really interested in your idea. We've been working together quite a lot on this one. So know my culture. Where is this? Let me find. Past it straight away.
Over there, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I was calling it shiny culture.
Yeah.
I changed names.
No. Tell me how you came up with the idea. Where did it come from? What was your inspiration behind it?
So basically, when I started university, I was thinking of developing drinks.
Yes.
Healthy drinks, and I was bringing into the class, and then everybody liked it and so on. But then I realized that many people were asking me some cultural products that I was wearing.
Yeah. So they liked what you're wearing.
Yeah. So like they were asking me what kind of toothpaste I use for my teeth.
Yes.
So they've been asking me, and I've been telling them like I use a stick from my country.
Yes.
To brush the teeth, and I was keep on telling them to go to Somalia because I'm from Somalia.
So you're from Somalia, okay?
So I used to tell them like go to Somali shop near you if you can find it, and then they've been going around, they couldn't find any.
They can't find.
Yeah, so they would keep on coming back to me, and then I tried to do a research on the internet, like if I could find any Somali shop near them and near me even. Yeah. So I couldn't find any. Although the only thing that we do as Somalis is like we do word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like we tell each other like, okay, yeah, there's a shop opened on that side.
But I think that's always the best way of getting information out. I mean, knowing what's happening, asking your friends and family, word of mouth.
Yeah. So and the other thing is Somalis are like excluded from the world in a way. That's what I think, because we have a mall or shopping center, a small one.
Yeah.
And that is excluded. The only Somalis you will see.
Right.
That.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So it doesn't get shown to the rest of the world and shown.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, what I did was I went to the Somali shop. I bought a couple of toothbrushes, thick ones. And I was selling it to them, and then there were like herbs that they were talking about, like how they I have skin.
So Somali products for Somalis.
I bought like herbs
in London.
Yeah, which is good for the skin and so on. And after that, it came to me like I don't even know if I'm interested in different cultures. I don't know where to purchase them, their products. I don't know how to get to them.
Yeah.
And so on.
So not just Somali cultures, but other cultures around the world.
And I realized I live in England, and there are English people here, and I don't even know their cultures. I don't know what they wear, what they don't wear. Like,
well, a
so
big
it
city
really-
like London, so multicultural anywhere in the
Yeah.
world's becoming multicultural, but it's a melting pot
Exactly.
of cultures here.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how it came to me.
Brilliant. So what's the actual idea itself to talk? So you can, I can see what you're addressing, because you're
Yeah.
addressing people that from different cultures in different locations and how they can get their cultural products.
Yeah, the idea is for me to develop a marketplace where any culture can sell through the cultural products.
So an online marketplace. Yeah.
Online marketplace. And also to educate people from different cultures, because I may not know, maybe, I don't know, where are you from? Sorry. Nigeria, yeah. So if I would like to know more about Nigeria, I could go to that place and then, learn more about it.
And you can see products from there.
Products
and,
from
yeah.
there.
Got
If I
it.
like them, maybe have it, because I do like the Nigerian hats. They have these beautiful big hats. I like them, but like I tried to ask a couple of people that I was working with, but somehow I never got any of them.
Let's have a look at your data room. Let's have a look at what you've been doing to build your idea, because I've seen that you've done a fair amount of work on that. So shall we look at your canvas, where it's, I've got to move this out of the way, I think, first of all. Your not value proposition canvas.
I just done lean canvas. No, my culture lean canvas. This one.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. That's super. Oh, wow. That's just fantastic. Lovely. Talk us through. So you've actually been talking us through the problem anyway. The existing alternatives. So how do people currently, Somalians, Nigerians, Americans, whoever, how do people currently, if they're overseas, if they live overseas, purchase cultural products?
There are like a couple of people who use social media, which is good, but and there are some Nigerians, because they more, I don't know, they understand a lot more about like their cultures, and they like to showcase it. So they do have you will see.
So each community has.
Yes, but there are like other cultures, many cultures that don't know how to utilize the internet and social media and so on.
Okay.
So
the existing alternatives are only open to a small number. Now I'm doing all this. Work for me.
yeah.
Undo.
I want to do this. Right, undo. I won't be able to do it. Double click.
On the
Oh.
No.
so now what they utilize is shops,
Yeah,
like small shops in different places.
but not for all communities. Whereas your concept
No.
is a platform.
I have some people who came from Guinea in my class, and I asked them how they obtain their cultural products, and I have been informed that they ask their family, friends who are going back for holidays if they can bring it back to them, and so on. So they are like, even though there are Somali shops, I can't obtain everything that I want here.
I get it. So if we move off from the canvas to actually your profiles, because I think that's going to be of interest. Which persona would you? Because you've got two personas. Because you're looking at a marketplace. There's a number of marketplaces here. It would be quite. And by the way, on the canvas, because we're looking, this is something to mention here about the canvas and both canvases, business model and lean canvas. Because Famo's looking at a marketplace, there's two sides to a marketplace, there's buyers and sellers. What you can do, most people start off with a single canvas, but in the end, you can end up developing a canvas for each side of the marketplace, because your value proposition and who you're selling to and what they want out of it can be different, can be very different for the two sides of it. So it's good to start first of all with one, but then you might actually want to build up another lean canvas for the buyer side or the seller side of the marketplace. So if we look at your customer personas, so these are customer persona.
So
I like the way you've laid this out as well. Looks very nice.
So here, basically what I did is I did not just, because I did interview I spoke to different people from different countries, and I'm currently working on developing a persona for them as well. But this is in regards to a couple of people that I spoke to, a group of people that I spoke to. And I was surprised when I spoke to 13 years old and they told me something about forget about their cultures and so on, because that is something that I wasn't expecting.
Have you got somebody in mind that isn't Somalian, from another culture, that would fit this background, that you think, wow, this is my ideal fit for the persona?
Yes. I spoke to Argentinian, a couple of people from Argentina. I spoke to a couple of people from Nigeria. I spoke to a couple of people from a lot of countries, basically, I spoke to.
And did you find that their persona across the countries was fairly similar? There was similar type of people in terms of their background, their worries, their fears, their hopes.
Yeah, they're similar. That's why
their online behavior.
Yeah, that's why I put together this.
Great.
In a way.
Yeah, great. So
Generalizing.
I know you've done quite a lot of research on this. And on the other side of the marketplace, you've got the sellers.
Yeah. So the sellers, sorry, I thought I changed it. So this is Naima, she's over 18, or again, I'm generalizing it, but I'm currently working on interviewing one by one, and then just, So owner of basically cultural shops, has family, works, studies.
Can I ask about your messaging strategy? Because this isn't now to individual buyers. This is the people that are selling, I guess. Would they be based in different countries?
In the future.
Yeah.
But currently, I'm concentrating on the UK.
The UK ones that are selling. So you want to message them on. So those sellers will be on Snapchat.
Maybe I did not understand the question.
But
what I meant, or the way I understood, was messaging strategy. So I said basically to unite, culture unites people, and then utilizing people that already are utilizing different social medias or different platforms. Because some people say, oh, I'm on Instagram, so what do you think? I'm like, this is a one-stop shop for all cultural products.
That might be a messaging strategy to the consumer, the person that's going to buy the cultural products, but to actually get to the sellers themselves, where would you find them? Where would you message them?
I'm doing that by foot.
By foot,
I'm going to them personally, to their shops, talking to them, explaining to them, and
And when it's developed further and there's one overseas, how would you message those sellers? How would you find them?
I'm also working on social media.
So you do it through social media?
Yeah, I'm starting social media now. I already have a platforms, but I'm starting to put.
Got it. Yeah. Right. Some questions. We got some.
Just a comment. I just wonder if there's any kind of trade shows type thing that you can attend to.
That's a really good idea.
I don't know if there is, but kind of trade.
Yeah, a good one to go to is actually in November for WTN.
Okay.
Which is a massive trade fair at the Excel in East London. And it's, I can't remember what the WTN, World some trade market, I think it stands for.
But there's trade shows.
It's the biggest trade expo I've ever been to, because it fills both sides of Excel, and it's stalls from every country in the world.
That's very good.
Well, that would be a really good one to go to.
Yeah, definitely.
Trade shows.
Yeah, hi. I noticed that your customer segment, your main customer segment is people who have immigrated and maybe want to get access to those products. And as an immigrant, I can relate to that. But I also get a lot of questions about people being curious about my culture. You know, what's the
that is-
best Brazilian barbecue place that I can go to, or how do I cook a picanha in this? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm a
Exactly.
vegetarian, you know, so it would be nice also for people that haven't immigrated
Definitely.
to go and get those tips. And I feel like especially in the UK, people are so curious about other cultures. So I think one of your customer segments should be,
Yeah.
you know, like people that are perhaps British and want to immerse
I am
themselves
actually.
so they can find the shops, find the restaurant, find recipes, exchange with other cultures in a safe space.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm working on that as well, because I've seen a couple of people who have friends who are from different cultures, and sometimes they go to their weddings and they want to buy the products.
Yeah,
And
they want to find out more, and often even, you know, people that have immigrated, we don't have all the answers. But maybe
exactly,
you have-
exactly.
That's a really good point.
The whole point of this platform is for anybody from anywhere in the world to come and, you know, get any cultural things, any information from cultures, any products from other cultures, videos from different cultures, and get to know, like, I don't know, the way I see it is like the world becoming like a big, huge family.
What you have to be a little bit careful of is that you don't take on too much,
but
and
not now.
it's too broad.
Yeah.
So you might want to start with certain product categories.
Exactly.
You might
That's what
want
I'm
to
doing.
start. You might want to start laser focused to get it working before broadening. Sorry, Chris.
No, I just want to build on that, because I thought that was an interesting observation. I mean, we've chatted online a few times. Yeah, no, an idea that just came to me. Once you've got this up and running, I know that you're an e-commerce thing, but I think one point of differentiation might be to run events, maybe some online things where you could maybe, I don't know, do somebody could cook
That's a
something.
really good promotional way of doing it.
Some art, some like
Yeah.
cooking, something to get people to come and watch.
Yeah,
it.
I think I spoke to you about that. I'm thinking of like in the future, but now I just want to stand on my both feet
No,
first.
of course. you
But
can get
like
up
in the
and running.
future, what I'm thinking of is every year to have a 2-day event where I was thinking about football actually. So you know how the World Cup works, where we take it to different
that's a good
countries.
idea.
So basically, what I want to do is to take these events to different countries in the future, basically, to take it to different countries where the country that we're in, they can showcase their cultures, and the people who are selling through the platform, who are doing very well, who are promoting the platform, who are really working on it, they can have like a place where they can showcase their products.
Oh,
Where are you right now on this, Fama? Right in the future, where have you done any experiments? Have you got a test card?
I'm
Have
working,
you-
I'm working on it.
You're working on it. So you're working on your test card. You're working on.
It's currently-
I know you put a landing page together, and
Yeah.
you're trying to book your landing page for buyers and for sellers, and trying to collect email addresses of those that are interested for more information.
Yeah.
So you're trying to validate your data.
Yeah, and also I'm currently working on awareness of the platform as well as the name.
Yeah, no, that's good. Any questions on?
Yes, Simon, I've got a compliment here from Mario and the question at the same time. So Mario thinks, and I believe it too, Famo. So well done. It's a fascinating idea with some real possibilities, but one that will require a great deal of planning and organization. So I'm just reading on what Mario said. And the question is, do you have or have you thought about developing a business plan as of yet? I'm sure you will do it, but as of yet, do you have something?
Yes, I wouldn't say like pages of business plan, but I do have, I put together something, and I always get ideas. The ideas that I get, I write it down so that it doesn't go anywhere. So I remember.
But you may also be a little bit early to develop a fully fledged business plan, because you're still developing your idea, your focus, your validation.
And also it changes every time.
Yeah.
I learn something, I find out other things, and then it changes. So
And that is one of the problems of an early stage business plan, is that they almost become obsolete the minute you finish them. And so it's much better to have a one-page canvas, a business model canvas on it that you can keep changing. But thank you very much. It's a really interesting idea, really interesting. If anybody wants to chat to Famo, there's the breakout room on the. And the last one before lunch, right, we have Alina.
Yeah. Do you want to do the microphone?
I'll just set up for you, Alina.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me get Alina before we start.
Okay, I cleaned a little bit. I differentiated the folders. Now I have in the data room, I have the business files and the business to consumer files.
But is it a messy room?
I don't think so.
It was brilliant. So welcome, Alina. Welcome. So I'm a wine lover, so this might be my segment. But wonderful. Tell us about the idea, how you came up with it.
Right. So I became interested in wine while I was living in Italy, and I was working in a restaurant, and I started to attend the wine tasting events, and this inspired me to expand my wine knowledge. And
Wine's inspired me a lot of times.
Right. And I'm still learning. I'm at the beginning, so
Yeah, no,
continue tasting. So, over the last years, I noticed a rise in interest in finding wine which is not accessible from typical retail locations.
Yes.
And with the pandemic, wine sales, there was an explosion of wine sales, as reported by Bordeaux Index and by several merchants and auction houses. So if you could go in my data room at the business to consumer, and you could the folder, the second folder from the top. Okay.
This one.
Yes, and we could pick
Tell me which.
a persona. It should be Anna. I think it's persona number 2.
This one.
Yes, should be her. If it should be Anna. Yeah, right. Okay. So
I love it when I'm directed around the data room here. This is brilliant. Rather than let's just searching for your documents. Wonderful.
Anna is an example. She's basically she doesn't have a rich social life. She's seeker of adventure. She's seeking a relationship, and she's also influenced. She's trying to pursue a luxurious lifestyle.
Yeah.
So people who are trying to pursue a luxurious lifestyle and also wine enthusiasts are spending a lot of time in finding the ideal product in store or online. So I decided to develop a variety of subscription plans based on which the customers will be able to select the frequency of shipments and matching their tasting preferences.
Is this for only Italian wine, or?
At the beginning, it will be only Italian wine. Okay, so based on their tasting preferences, they will select the frequency of shipments, and they will have something like a magic box at their door.
Yeah.
And together with some snacks and some recipe brochures, they will improve their dining experience.
So the Italian culture,
exactly,
the Italian wine, the wonderful.
Yeah. So Anna is just an example.
Well, it's a very specific example. You've even got her location down to, you know. So yeah, this is the more you can focus in on and then find lots of locations with Anna's.
She likes traveling. She's looking for a partner, so she's gonna try to impress. She's gonna buy wine and invite a potential partner at her house. I don't know, something like that. And
Wonderful.
yes, at the same time, so the idea goes in both directions as a business to consumer and business to business.
Yeah, I was going to say, because this is a platform, isn't it? So
Yes.
it's another platform example where you
Yes.
you end up with, and platforms are really difficult, by the way, because you've got two completely different types of customer.
Exactly. So for the e-commerce, stands for the business to consumer perspective.
Yes.
And the business to business is another perspective. I should use the same subscription plans, but adapted. And I will propose to other businesses that are already delivering food products at people's houses,
Right.
like groceries, farmer associations. And I will propose these subscription models, and they would integrate these models into their business strategies, and they will associate their offering with my offering, and they will expand. They will take an extra share of an extra market segment.
I mean, I get this in that with both the wine side of it and the culture. My wife's from South Africa, in Cape Town, and there's a big wine region in Cape
Right.
Town. And when we go over there and we go to the wine farms, the wine we really like, a lot of it doesn't get shipped over here. It's just wines for locals. And so we've always thought about, oh God, we should be helping them ship their wine over. But there's a South African community that sell their other biltong and all their other things. And so a little bit like with what you're doing with, I guess, on the Italian side of things, of looking for.
Yeah, I got inspired. Italian wine is amazing, and based on research, the region and the price are the main decision factors.
Yes.
In buying decision.
And so in terms of your B2B,
If you would like to choose the lean canvas,
the lean can.
and you can also look at the business to business customer persona at Team.
Getting more used to this now. So lean canvas.
Yeah.
So the problem for
They're in
the businesses.
They're in a stagnant phase of the company's life cycle. They are in lack of innovation, and they want to improve the customer attraction and retention rate.
Yes.
And also they would like to touch to get another segment of the market, of customer segment. And I would initiate the partnership.
Just first of all, so at the moment, what do they do?
They are trying to attract and keep the customer through price cuts, and they are investing a lot in advertising.
Okay, so okay, got it.
Okay, so
Do you want me to move the? So in terms of how you would get hold of these businesses,
yes,
your channel. So
my channels are actually, it's missing one, which is one of the most important, the key ones. It's Twitter,
Yeah.
but the first one would be LinkedIn. And then Twitter, and then Google Ads. Email newsletter is general, but it's not that easy to get to the leads. LinkedIn has a powerful tool. It's called Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator, yeah.
Okay. Let's go to your profile.
Yes, please. Tim. Tim is also a real person, as Janet had.
Which one's Tim?
I'm not sure, but should probably. Yes. Oh, great. Yeah, great. He's an innovator. He has its own company, right? I made up gourmet.
Yeah.
Well, he likes to improve constantly, to improve and to bring innovation into his company. So he would be attracted to this idea.
Got it. And his motivators, yeah. Just talk me through what you've already sort of alluded to that, but his main motivators.
Well, he wants to be among the first. He wants to be, you know, he wants to lead the market. So he's, I would point on his FOMO, like, you know, of not FOMO, but something similar, like on his fear of
No, it is
staying behind, you know, as a founder and as a manager. And so I would suggest him that this would be an innovative solution.
I get it for him. Now, I just wanted to look for the consumer, the value proposition canvas.
Yes,
I think
absolutely. That would be useful, even for the business to business, but also for this one. But the most important for the business to consumer. Value proposition, yes, the last one.
Right, this is okay. So again, yesterday we discussed not trying to, of course. Yesterday we discussed not trying to retrofit. Oh, it's as large as I think I can make it here. Unfortunately, won't large. Oh, well done.
The funny thing, if I may say, in my opinion, is that my business to consumer value proposition would fit to my customer as business to business, but their customers, I think.
Yeah, well, it would be the same as them to their customers or similar, right? But you've got two customers because you're a two-sided marketplace.
Yeah.
Part of it is with your sellers. They're also after the same sort of customers that you're after. On there, by showing them your value proposition canvas to your consumers, it will demonstrate how you understand the market for them.
Exactly, I was thinking about that.
So this is a really powerful canvas. Once you've looked at your customer segments, once you've got your canvas, actually working on this is incredibly important. So is there anything you want to highlight on this? Because I've actually called something up on Google when I was coming here this morning about this to describe it in a different way.
I could talk about their pains, like they have poor social interaction. They want to improve their dining experience. I could say the competitors sometimes don't have enough inventory, and they are spending, especially the key pain, I would say it's spending a large amount of time on finding the right product. So I would ease this pain by choosing the right wine for them. I would ask them to fill up, let's say, questionnaire, and they would explain what do they usually eat, what are their preferences in terms of wine, like if they prefer it dry, or if they like most the red one or the sparkling, or and based on their preferences, I would choose the wine for them. They would have only to choose the frequency of shipments. I would deliver it like weekly, twice a month. Or
the gains are what would delight them. I mean, that's the big thing that they can't already get. It's all about what would delight them and increase the likelihood of them adopting what you're doing. But yeah, and in terms of the pains, the negative experiences that they currently have. I think you've actually listed quite a lot of these here, which is quite good.
Yeah, well, the main, as I said, is the matter of time spending. People don't have time to go through shops, even browsing online. It became so difficult because we have so many choices. So there are people that would like to have like once in a month or once in a week fine bottle of wine at home. Without any I don't know, other trouble, without spending time on choosing it.
Have you done any tests now with?
I've started, yes. I have I should have And I hope I put that. Yes, I have the test
Got
cards.
test cards? So
Well,
any particular one you want me to?
I don't remember by heart on this, but I developed the landing page.
Have you developed a landing page for both the sellers and the buyers?
No, it's for the business to consumer.
Yeah.
Because
buyer.
I was thinking that if I'm gonna test the business to consumer perspective, it would be a proof to the business to business as well. You know, I'm gonna show them that people are interested in this. You know,
And just something on that is landing pages are much better for B2C, for consumers, because you're testing customer behavior. Often when you're doing B2B, you're going in a meeting and you're having a telephone conversation, an email conversation, developing a relationship. Sending them to a website, say download some information, is not really the best way of communicating with B2B. Customer interviews are a really good way. Surveys don't like surveys. I've never liked surveys unless you've got a product that's actually selling and it's more about customer satisfaction.
if you want, you can see also the website.
But yes, it would be nice to see the website.
I give it a name, even if I had another name, a second name in my mind, but the second one sounds actually better, but I would like to receive some
What's your
feedback.
website?
It's splashwineallover.com. Wineallover.com. Splash.
Oh, sorry. Splash. All over?
All over, yeah.
No, we've locked from it.
I don't know why www. No, it doesn't matter.
It might be our.
And there might be www actually.
Maybe the word wine is an issue.
Okay, I haven't thought about that. Okay, too
I'll
bad.
just try quickly.
Anyway, I've initiated a Facebook ad campaign
Yes.
on I've created a Facebook page with the same name.
Yes.
And I've just initiated the campaign, and also I've initiated 2 other campaigns with an email newsletter through MailChimp, and another one through GoDaddy. You know.
But your intention is to collect validation data so that you can show to the sellers that there's a market for this.
Yes.
Which is a really good idea. Any questions, by the way, for Alina, both online? Oh, I think we've got some online questions, but in the room.
There's nothing online, so.
One of the other things, pains I thought, was lack of knowledge, you know, so people who just know they like nice wine, but don't have the knowledge to know what that might look like. So if they can describe to you the sort of thing they like, have an expert, a bit like a sommelier really online that's right to choose that for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I have just to answer quickly. I have person that I kind of initiated a collaboration with an ex-colleague from Italy. He's a sommelier, and he would help me with that.
Chris?
Yeah, I know it's a bit early because you're still
Yes,
gathering data and stuff, but I think it might be helpful to think about your niches and themes. So, for example, a big one might be celebration. So things like weddings, wakes, product launches, engagement parties, these sorts of things. They're all going to want, you know,
Exactly.
they might not know what wine to buy. So, I mean, or it might be that they haven't got the budget to spend on a fantastically expensive champagne, for example. So what are the alternatives? You know, those sorts of things. I know it's early.
No, what's interesting here, and from some of the previous ideas, a lot's about educating your customers. A lot about is bringing experience to your customers. So it's not just you're selling a product. You know, you're bringing a culture to new people, or you're bringing the experience of Italian wine and the products around it to people. Maybe
and also if you're these extra bits, the wine itself is simply the product. If you're the thing that will pay you the money is the envelope that you put it in.
Exactly.
And are you going to give people a kind of white glove experience?
It is the experience. There's a really good example with coffee about experience. You can buy coffee on the markets, in the commodity markets, for cents, you know, for massive amounts of it. As soon as you refine the coffee and put it into, make it a good into a jar, it's now £2.50 or £3.50 or whatever it is. You've added an awful lot to it because you've made it into goods. Now you can turn it from goods into an experience and really charge a premium. So if you're selling it at the top of the lovely restaurant on the Champs-Élysées,
Exactly.
it's not going to be £3.50 now, is it? You're going, because the whole experience is added to it. So that you might start off with the basic product, but a lot of these things is about building the experience around it to make it more valuable.
Right. I thought about associating it with some Italian snacks and also with some video recipes or like brochures.
Yes.
Brochures, you know.
Yes.
I would have a QR code and they would scan it and they would go to the video recipe.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So bringing the experience.
I was thinking what you said beforehand, because I have no clue with wine.
Oh.
And when I have to buy something for somebody, I go to the supermarket and I completely get stuck, honestly. And I'm asking people I see around, can you help me?
Yeah.
Because I have no clue. Sometimes I want to buy something.
And the problem is there's so many
cheap.
wine snobs, isn't there? That,
Sometimes it's just for cooking. What wine is best to put in my fridge? And I have no clue. Or if I wanted to buy someone for a gift, honestly, I have no clue.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I can
There is
identify.
an app.
Alina, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
continue. I just wanted for the online audience, sort of, it's lunchtime now, so we've got looking at the agenda now. So we are having our lunch break till 1:40, and then we've got a whole host of other ideas. So please join us after lunch. We've got 40 minutes, but feel free to carry on the discussion now. I just wanted to let people know it's lunchtime.
Right.
And there's nowhere to get any wine around here, is there?
Exactly. If anyone wants to ask something else, I'm here.
I was going to say corporate, I don't know if this is what you're thinking of, but like the whole corporate thing, isn't it? There's so much money in organisations and they just do staff, you know, gifts for staff, they would have that.
Exactly. You know, someone gave me this idea, like a colleague from the university, her parents have a wine company. Actually, they are producing wine in France, you know, and she knew something about wine. And when we discussed about this idea, we were in a mastermind group, and she suggested me to sell the wine as to other companies, especially to offer the product as a gift between the companies, you know, from company to company in Christmas time or in not only. Yeah, someone gave, this is brilliant, I think. This is amazing.
You've also got, because you're basically importing from to wherever you're selling it, let's say to the UK, you're importing from another culture. It's about culture, it's about a product. There's possibilities for events and cross-pollination of events and things like that. I mean, this is
your website, you can still sell other platforms, but this will be the one-stop shop for all cultural products. So yeah, why not?
So,
if someone thinks about
Exactly, thank you for the ideas.
They wouldn't go to your website. Someone like me, I'm looking. Well, it wouldn't be me, but someone like me.
but it's not just websites; it's events and things like that. You could do them together to.
Definitely. No, I'm talking about the website. To look for your website takes time, but when you are selling through the product, this cultural platform, anyone can come in and say, okay, Italian, was it wine?
Yes.
And then it would be easier for them to find.
Well, the platform will be an e-commerce.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. No, I get it, and I like the idea. Although it's centered around wine, it's centered around there's other products that can be sort of delivered, or at least it's
not not from my side, I would associate
yeah.
from the business to business
Yeah,
perspective.
that they can, yes.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
already the food products.
Yeah.
They, let's say they are delivering meat at home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
or fish, and I could associate the wine with my offering, with their offering.
You know, because you're starting with Italian wine, you have some really big Italian food subscriptions where they deliver the ingredients and people cook at home.
I do have, but I wouldn't go to them. I already thought about it because they can do it by themselves, you know.
But what if, because they're sending the recipe for people to cook a meal, what if your wine went with the recipe?
Yeah, like Hello Fresh type thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have like pasta and evangelists.
I know
They have
that.
Nonna Tonda. If you have a very specialized Italian dish and you pair it with the right wine, you know, because people Nonna Tonda, you
It's lunchtime,
would ask,
guys.
you know, so people would buy only one bottle, but then they get your advertisement so they can sign up to your service.
Yeah, absolutely. But my concern was that those who are Italian companies based with Italian founders would be able to do this by themselves, you know, to reach the suppliers.
They're British.
Right.
They traveled Italy and learned the recipes, but as far as I could see on their bio, they're British, and they don't offer wine yet.
Great, recording resumed. Right, so this afternoon, so we're now in the final quarter of the two-day event. All been about launching businesses to customers, all been about idea validation. That's our focus, and that's still going to be our focus this afternoon. We're going to look at another group of ideas, another 4 more ideas, and different ideas again, with the same view of can we find them customers? Can we help them? Can we look at and learn from their canvases? Will the canvases give us any ideas for our own canvases? Can we partner with them? Is there any opportunities? The really big thing, if I don't mention at the end for the takeaway here, is this isn't the end of the hackathon experience. We started, it wasn't just a weekend of what we're doing now. We started months ago with finding people to loan ideas. We started months ago with appointing mentors, appointing advisors, and putting a data room in place. Well, first of all, the idea and ideas nest, then the data room, and asking entrepreneurs to put some work in. Nobody really wants, we mentioned this over lunch, nobody really wants to fit in for. Nobody really wants a bunch of PDFs. I mean, how do you edit a PDF to start with? So that takes initiative. Nobody really wants to do this work, but what it does do is it gives an indication of how passionate you are about your idea, how much effort you're willing to put in. All of these forms are for the benefit of the founders anyway. It's all about trying to find the customers and trying to help you position it in the right way. But it does weed out those who aren't ready to be entrepreneurs. It doesn't mean there'll never be great entrepreneurs, they're just not ready. Some of the excuses of, well, I haven't got time over the weekend because I'm playing football is one of them. As I said, I can't imagine Elon Musk saying that. It's about what you're really passionate about, and everybody that's been clear that everybody's been talking over the last few days are passionate about what they do. They've put effort into their idea, some more than others. Some have even had tidy rooms, and it's just a whole variety of people. And what we're looking to do is, today is not, as I said, the end of it. Today is showcasing where you've got to. But we have this startup hackathon community of founders and mentors, all on there now, and it's about progressing with them. It's now about progressing with your idea, getting more feedback, showing your documents that you might have changed. So from what you've seen today, you might change one of the canvases, or you might put a test card up and say, can anybody give me some feedback from this? Am I doing the test card right? I've looked at how other people are doing it, and get some feedback. We're all there to help. And in particular with the validation data, have I got enough validation data? Does anybody fit in this customer segment? I'm looking for more of these people. Can you help me find a channel? So we're going to keep this going. We're going to keep the whole hackathon going. So the follow-up will very much happen on the founders and mentors startup hackathon. Yes. So just wanted to make that clear. This isn't the end of what we're doing with these ideas. Just before we kick off, then this afternoon sessions.
Yeah, there's somebody waiting.
Oh, I need to manage the waiting room. I'll find out.
Just the one person. It's more obvious when it came up at the top, wasn't it? Can do that for you.
Yeah, please, Lorraine. And actually, Lorraine, just before, I want to say a big thank you. Again, if I don't get time later on, for the university letting us use this space, being able to work with some of your founders. I know that you're also running some follow-up events.
So we are, yes. So we have a networking event coming up on the 5th of October, which Simon's actually speaking at, which is on financing business. And we have a business showcase. So on the 12th and 13th of October, there's a chance for people to bring their businesses or their concepts or their products in to showcase to students and potentially alumni and academics as well. Now that is primarily for people who are our ARU London students or alumni. However, if you're not one of our students and alumni and you're interested, get in touch with me and I'll see, it would be great if we can, perhaps widen that and show our students and alumni, a broader perspective of what's possible. And I know there's people here from all over the place. So this would be in person rather than online. So you have to be able to get here in East India. But it's a great opportunity to get some live feedback from perhaps quite a number of people. And if you want to speak to me further and see the sort of demographics of our students and our lecturers, so you know if they're anything like your target market, then please drop me an email, get in touch with me. I'll pop my email in the chat. Anyone who's here, I've got some cards, and what I will do is at some point just pop my email in the chat so that you can let me know if you're interested. But please don't, again, this isn't the end. We've got some great events coming up, and especially, if now you're thinking about, well, let's get all this information. How do I finance a business? Then, then our next event on the 5th of October might be just that.
Thanks,
So
Lorraine. No, really appreciate it. Okay, Eduardo, we're starting this afternoon session, same format as before. And we really want to look at the idea itself, and the work that's been done in the data room. So tell us a little bit about your idea. I've just put it on the nest. So your fiction studio. So let's open this up.
Yeah, so the idea for Fiction Studio came from me actually teaching creative writing. I was hired to teach podcasting, and soon I realized that there was a huge problem with idea development and script writing.
Yep.
And I began running creative writing workshops for the students, which improved the quality of the podcasts that they were producing a lot. Then the same course provider hired me to do exclusively creative writing.
Yeah.
And I studied creative writing, so I did a 3-year BA in creative writing and literature. I have done all the creative writing courses that I could get or pay for. And I had one major frustration was that they were all very theory-based.
Right.
And by the time you got through the course, you had so many rules that they had delivered to you and techniques, but you hadn't practiced enough. You hadn't had enough feedback. So I created Fiction Studio as a place for people to not only take in some information, obviously you need the technical side of it, but also to try out their ideas.
Well, that really fits in with what we're doing today, really, because we started with an educational event, but it wasn't practical as such. We were teaching the right things. This startup hackathon is putting it into practice. So there's one thing having the education, they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand, yeah, but you need the right balance between the two to keep people motivated and learning, but producing. Because all the knowledge in the world isn't enough if you're not actually getting things done.
Yeah. And I think people here that have been filling in their data rooms will have seen that it's one thing having the knowledge, it's another actually doing it.
Actually doing it, exactly. And you learn a lot more by doing it, and then having someone that you can ask questions to, so you're not also left alone. Because what would happen in the courses that I took is they give you all the theory, you go off and try to do it, and then you have no one to come back to. So the idea of Fiction Studio is that it's an ongoing community where people can get advice from their peers or the mentors and hosts within the community.
And it's for creative writers.
It is specifically for people that write fiction. So it could be short stories, novels, but it could also be television pilots or film, for anyone that actually wants to make it as a writer of fiction.
But I like that the niche is fiction writing. It's not just because creative writing is so broad.
Yeah. No, it's for people that want to write stories.
And tell us a little bit about actually. We can do this on the canvas because it comes right into this. Let's go into your canvas.
I did both of them, but I think the link canvas will be easier. There I am.
I prefer the link canvas anyway. As we said before, depending on the stage you're at. Link canvas.
If you go to the other one, sorry, if you can go back and go to the one below, which is the MVP. So I simplified it because I had so many ideas, but now I'm trying to only test my MVP. And then later on, I'm going to test all the add-ons. Yeah, so again, too big?
It's too big. Okay.
Is that too big?
Yeah, we can make it one smaller or no, it's okay.
That's fine.
Just move something. Thanks. Sorry, everybody, carry on.
No, I just established the problems. Number one is just to learn the craft of writing. And I think because I've been through so many courses and I've been frustrated on myself so many times, I am at a stage where I can actually present information in a very digestible way. And so the first thing is just teaching story devices. How do you write a compelling, engaging story, no matter what genre you're writing it? But the second thing is to have the discipline to write productively, because a lot of people say, well, I have an idea for a TV show, or I really want to write a novel. And it's like, okay, how often do you write? It's like, well, whenever I get a chance, that's just not good enough, right? You need to be productive, you need to be consistent. So that's I would even say that goes hand in hand with learning, is just having the discipline. And then having the confidence to put their work in front of other people. A lot of people write and they either don't show it to anyone, or they show it, they get one piece of negative feedback, and then they never want to show it to anyone.
This is the same as business startups. This is the big fear of people starting businesses. Further, they try and make it perfect. So they're afraid of it failing or nobody wanting it, and so they don't show. Or if somebody does give them a piece of negative feedback, they'll never show people again. So it's a very similar thing with entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So. Yeah, so that's a big problem. Sometimes the problem is simply they stop writing, which obviously is a big problem if they want to make it as a writer, but sometimes it even affects people's mental health. So part of the solution that I'm providing.
First of all, what's the existing alternatives? Now, I wrote something down over the lunch break about existing alternatives, just to frame this in a slightly different way. Your true competition is not who you think they are, but who your customers think they are. So who do the customers think the existing alternatives? So it's often the same, but some people think that, but it really is who your customers think are the existing alternatives to this. It's a hard one.
It's a hard one, yeah. That's got me thinking about something. I'm thinking of the people already in my community. A lot of them do think that they need to get on creative writing courses or script writing courses, which can be quite expensive. So like it would be an alternative, but also they can't afford it. So they think, well, I can't write a good enough script unless I do.
But they
this.
think that's the alternative to what you're doing, or to this
Yeah.
problem. That's their solution to this problem.
I
in
think
their
they need something that is a bit of hand holding. So they either want a course with someone that is a big figure in the industry to say, well, if I do a script writing course, for example, with John York, then I'll definitely get into the BBC the second after I finish. Or they want someone to produce their work with them. So like, I have the idea, I need to get a writer on my side, I need to get a producer on my side, a publisher on my side. Basically, they're always looking for ways of moving their project along, which is disempowering because they are the ones that have to do it, but they're looking for people to do it for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the case the world over. It's a bit like the whole investment side for startups. The reason people want investment is because they're looking for people to pay to do various things that the entrepreneurs probably do at the early stage themselves, like marketing, like putting plans together and all these types of things. It's people always want other people to do the work for you. Obviously, in an early startup, you put a team together that cover all the bases. So your solution? So
my solution is that the community is doing all those things for them. First of all, it's giving them the impression of having their hand held through the process, although there is a little bit of, help along the way, but the help isn't, we're going to do it for you. It's, this is how you do it. Take these steps. It's going to keep them accountable, because they have to come back to the community. They have deadlines that they have to keep to, much like
it's structured for deadlines. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also going to tell them, okay, this is how far you can produce it yourself. And then these are the people that will actually help you because now you're at the stage that you need help. So it's getting their initial product together. So if it's a book, we need a draft of that book. If it's a film script, you can shoot a short film for maybe £100 and you'll have the people in the community to help you. And then you can take that to festivals. So we're taking them to the point where they have a really solid product that they can then even send to the BBC or get an agent or,
You're doing validation, aren't you?
We are, yeah. Story validation.
Story validation. There we go. Forget idea validation.
Yeah.
Story idea validation.
Story idea validation. Yeah.
And you've got quite a long, unique proposition. Let me just see. Can you distill that down further? Single, clear, compelling message.
I think the unique selling point is you're going to produce what you're writing. Because my biggest frustration was that I had beginnings of stories, beginning of scripts, and then I had no one to look over at them, and then I didn't know what to do.
So the message isn't learn how to write creative fiction, it's to produce.
Produce, learn to the point that you can produce your own book, your own short film, your own graphic novel, your own whatever.
The key message is produce here.
Produce, do something with it,
So with produce and fiction, is there a high level? Could you do an analogy? Is it? Anybody think of any analogies here? I can't.
That's the hard one. That's why I put a question.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come back to that. Have a think about that.
An incubator for stories.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, incubator for stories. Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
It just the reason why this high level concept or the analogy is quite important is sometimes with ideas it takes you a while to get across. You got it in your head.
Simon.
Yes.
We have Mark's comment here. It's like founders and mentors for fiction.
Yeah.
Founders and mentors for fiction. Yes. Yeah. It's like, thank you, Mark. Yeah.
Because Simon and I are developing this thing called travel, which could be very helpful.
But Mark, I don't really want to put founders and mentors in fiction in the same sentence. So think of another one. Brilliant. Yeah. So no, that's the reason the high level concepts. Yeah. So incubator for fiction, or it just puts people like to put things in boxes, into categories, and even if it isn't exact, they go, get that.
It's
and then,
helpful because it's hard to explain sometimes. Yeah.
So you're. Let me. I wanted to get to customer segments. Here we go. Whoops. So just your customer segments, just briefly.
So the main one, I think, and this is something that I'm testing, is amateur fiction writers. So people like myself that have taken the courses, have maybe even gone through university, but haven't made the leap to publish or to produce anything, and they feel very lost and not at all confident.
Yes.
And then what I'm seeing is that I'm also getting media professionals. So this might be people that already work in the industry, but they don't work in a creative job. They might be runners or assistant producers, but they want to shift within the team and maybe become a script coordinator or become part of a writer's room, or even just to do their job better. If they understand story structure, that's very helpful. So that's very surprising because I didn't think that those people would be interested at all. And then amateur audiovisual producers. So people that are part of communities like the London Horror Society or that go to film festivals in London, they are doing their own thing. They're having the ideas, they're writing, they're producing, they're getting a crew together, they're taking the film to the festival, they're making the coffee, like literally like one human being doing a whole production. They have been not only my primary customer, but also the ones that participate more in the community, because I found that it's really easy to get people into the community, really hard to engage them and to get them to participate. But when I get people that are film producers and indie film producers, they are right on it.
See, this is, and this is, I think, for everybody, if you can get a community behind what you're doing, it's really hard to get an active community. But if you can get an active community, they're your influencers. It's those people that really can make a business take off.
Yeah, they run the community for you, which is amazing. So I'm really focused on them now, just because they're so interested in getting a final product. And I think that's the motivation. Why are you going to write for 2 hours every day? Why are you going to pitch that idea and, you know, put yourself out there? You're probably only going to do that if you actually can visualize your book printed or your film winning an award in a festival. And they are the people that visualize that.
I can see that. The early adopters.
Yeah.
Mario has got a very good, it's a compliment and a question again. That's very typical. That's how Mario is operating since morning. So he's asking, have you thought about a certification program? Because he says that he can see this as a potential good revenue stream.
What is it, a certification program?
So, you know, if I do it, if I join your, I'm just answering on behalf of Mario, but what I understood was that if I join your program, then I'll get some type of certificate, like a, you know, like a qualification, which I can put on my CV. And I can be hired possibly, or I can show, you know, my credibility that I'm qualified to do that. Mario, am I right?
That's correct. So very, very quickly, for instance, in the technology world, an individual can become certified as a project manager. And then they've got subcategories where you can become certified in Agile or Scrum or any number of other things that could create a revenue stream for you by certifying these individuals. Of course, it would take a process. It would take acceptance from the writers community, but it's something for you to research and take a look at.
I hadn't thought of it, but that's an amazing idea. Thank you.
This is a great thing, isn't it? Thank you, Mario.
My pleasure.
So we were early adopters.
Yeah, so early adopters have been the indie filmmakers. But another thing that I want to chase up, and this is something I need to test, is university students that are doing creative writing. And I want to reach them through the universities, because I think it would be interesting for universities to have creative writing students that are winning awards. And this is something that I can help the students along. And I think sometimes inside a faculty, because they have so many other things to worry about, they're not focused on getting their students to win those prizes. So that is a next step, is getting in touch with universities to see if I can help them.
That makes a lot of sense. What I'm not going to do then is go into because you've got quite a few different personas.
I have three,
but what maybe I'd like to do is see the value proposition canvas for one of those customer segments.
Oh, I haven't done them because
There's so
they
many.
go over my head.
Okay, let's have a look at the segments. Let's have a look at the customer personas. So which one should we start with? The B2C?
They're all B2C.
They're all
I haven't
B2C.
done a B2B
Which
yet.
one would you prefer to start
So
with?
if you look at the amateur film producer, which is the one I had more success with.
Yeah, can we start to bigger? Okay, hopefully everyone can see that. So who is this chap?
So these people are people that literally have a camera like that at home, or maybe they rented it and they want to produce a short film. They have the idea and they know that the script is a crucial step, but they don't know how to use it as a tool that is, first of all, going to save them money. Second of all, is going to keep their crew together and working towards the same goal. It's going to help them in the editing process, and it's going to help them not lose scenes, because their biggest fear is they have maybe £100 to produce this over a weekend. They got some actors and a crew together and they're not going to be able to do this again.
Sounds like you know some of these people.
Oh yeah, I am them sometimes. I've been on that side. And
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I specialize because I studied film and then creative writing, because in film I noticed how crucial the script is.
Yeah.
And how it's overlooked a lot of times. So I'm usually the person nagging everyone to get the script right. And
have you done any tests, any validation experiments with?
yes, so what I've done is I've gone to networking events within communities of indie filmmakers, and I've pitched fiction studio to them, and I had people join from those pitches.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think in terms of data and validation and just the scientific approach. So if you were to put that on a test card,
I don't know if I
let's see,
did.
let's see.
If I
It doesn't matter. Let's see.
I've got an idea. So.
Let's just see first of all. One second.
Think about a lead magnet. In other words, something that you can send people for free, like a PDF, or about think about these are checklists of things that you need, or here's how to do a podcast type thing, or whatever it is. And then you have some kind of landing page where you say, this is what I'm up to, and if you'd like to download this free thing, then give me your name and email address. And that could be a way of validating or picking up people's email addresses.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about earlier. You were asking me how I did it.
Yeah,
so it was exactly that, a PDF, and then they want that, and in exchange I get their email address.
Yeah, so they can download the PDF.
Yeah.
They give you their email. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, like a very short ebook.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, don't spend ages, but because all you want really is their email, their data.
But their behavior by what they give you is showing a sign of interest. It's validation. It's not the strongest validation you can get, but it's a good indicator. And you want to collect data. You want to be able to back everything up you're doing with data.
You don't even have to have a website. You could just do it through LinkedIn or whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Because all you're doing is, if you want this thing, just sign up. So.
And to your point about you don't even need a website, too many people think they need to produce a website to collect that form of data, and then they think about the brand for their website, and then so they go down a whole rabbit hole when they don't need to go that far down. All they need to do is think, well, what data do I need to collect, and how can I collect it, and whether it's a LinkedIn, whatever it is, or whether it's simply, and my favorite is always, I like MailChimp, not because I'm not promoting MailChimp, but because it's free up to a certain level. So I always like the free tools that are out there. But MailChimp do landing pages. There's a lot of landing page CRM. So you can create a simple landing page. I know the address of it isn't whatever you were going to call your company, Fiction Studio or whatever, but you've just got a MailChimp address. It doesn't really matter. You're not trying to promote your brand. You're trying to find out whether people are interested in this particular hypothesis of yours. You create it, you just put what it's about, ask for their email address. The nice thing is, if you're doing something like MailChimp, that's an email CRM tool, you're collecting it in GDPR format for marketing purposes further. Whereas if you're trying to collect it on your own website, then you've got to put it into a tool that does that and run it. So there's ways of doing these things that doesn't cost you. You don't have to do your brand.
I've been using the free version of Mighty Networks, and I use it as a testing platform because it has a landing page as well.
Yes.
And you also own the email addresses that people put in there.
Yeah.
So what I do is I give people the link and they read through the landing page, and then they have to sign up to the community, because at the moment I'm not charging for the community. I'm just seeing who I can get in there and how much they will interact. Because one of the things that I need to test is a price point, which has been really difficult. So I need a bit more time. But at least I was saying, you know, who is at least going to go and sign up for free?
And a stronger validator, well, by signing up, they put some effort in. It's a level of validation to what you're saying, and that they're interested in the proposition. If you start charging, it's even stronger.
Yeah,
it's even stronger. So
exactly.
it's moving. Has anybody else used any different tools to collect email addresses?
I use Sending Blue.
Sending Blue.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of
moved
that.
off Mailchimp because I think I needed to spend money. But Sending Blue, yeah, exactly the same.
Don't spend money at this stage.
I'm not doing it.
ClickFunnels, well, that's quite high tech. So if you don't know about digital marketing and you don't know tech, then don't.
But you get a lot of data on ClickFunnels, don't
Yeah,
you? You're willing to learn.
Some funnel on there and all, but it's all automated.
You need to take a crash course.
Yeah, start with little bits, you know.
Anybody online use? Anybody online?
Yeah, sadly, 97.
Anybody online use a different tool or something they could recommend to collect email addresses? No? Okay.
Yeah, one thing I would say, what you need to do is to create a feeling that you are giving people before you ask them to join your community. So give people value.
A reason to join.
Yeah, you know, give people, and then once they feel like you're giving them stuff, they'll be really willing to join your community.
So Josh said that he can give some suggestions, and he said Google Scrape tool is one. So maybe, you know, Edward and Josh can talk later, but I know he's gonna present his ideas after. So I don't know how they will make it happen, but yeah.
Okay, Joe, and really for other people as well, we've got a community, the Startup Hackathon community. That's a good place to ask these sorts of questions, for you to post what tools you use to do this. The way Mario posted about how to edit PDFs for everybody, any of these tools. But sorry, I'm interrupting your presentation.
No.
So let's have a look. So in terms of any tests, have you got any data to?
Yeah, so I was actually, because I do have a community already, I was trying to test what was getting them engaged so I could do more of it and promote that. So my test card, I have a completed learning card about live streams and another one about videos.
Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah, so because I only had a couple people in the community really engaging, I was like, how do I get these people to start talking to each other? And I thought, if I go live, that could be a solution. And they did engage a lot more during the live stream, but I still had radio silence afterwards.
So how does the live stream work on Mighty Networks?
So the way that I've been using is I scheduled it as an event. I did, you know, I put out a few posts about what the content was going to be. They had to RSVP, and then I just went live within the platform.
And can they on the live stream? I know I've got Mighty Founders mentioned on Mighty Networks. We don't use that function. Can people interact, or is it just you speaking on the live stream?
It's just me on the screen, but they can chat to each other.
They can chat to each other.
Yeah, and they can leave, and that stays recorded within the Mighty Network, so they can watch it later and leave comments as well. So my hope was that they were going to watch it, and whoever hadn't made it would watch it later. But that didn't happen. The interaction only happened during the live streams. And also by doing this, I found out that live streams are extremely time consuming for myself. So then I did a test on videos. So I had a learning card for videos because I can do that in my own time, which meant that it was shorter because the live streams turned out to be like 15 minutes. So for someone to watch that back, I think that might have been, I talked to some of them privately and they said, it was too long. So the videos, I can control it a lot better because there's no one asking questions in the middle of it. So I have a learning card for videos, and again, the people went back to watch the video. So I had more people watching,
Yes.
but the interaction was still a bit, it wasn't great, but because the interaction that I want from them is for them to take what I said, write a paragraph and share their work.
Right.
And they are, one, embarrassed, and two, worried about someone stealing their idea.
That's such a common thing, people worried about their ideas being stolen.
Yes.
How do you address that?
So the first thing is I'm now put out videos on how to protect their ideas and how to share in a way that their ideas are protected.
Yeah.
And I also created a feedback checklist because people are worried about someone telling them that their idea is bad. And that checklist tells you it doesn't matter what people think as far as good or bad, because you're never going to please everyone. These are the things that people should be telling you is did they understand the plot? Did they engage with the characters? Did they, what do they think was your inciting incident? You know, what was the part that made them more excited? So the feedback checklist has helped people not be afraid of getting the feedback.
Yeah.
And it has also made the feedback be a lot more useful because the little feedback that they got before was like, oh, this is a great idea. And you're like, what do you do with that? You know, like nothing. You need to be a bit more specific. So yeah, so after I tested the videos and the live streams, those are the two things that I did, was release more information on copyright and create the feedback checklist.
And whereabouts are you with the whole creation of Fiction Studio, with actually the platform, the everything? Where are you with it?
So I think I'm still in the testing stage and I still have a lot of testing to do. I use Mighty Network for testing, although I want to grow inside the community. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, I'm learning how to produce better quality videos and also slowly buying equipment so I can produce better quality videos. I also joined communities where I can learn public speaking. So little things like that I'm doing for myself, but I'm also looking to partner up with people that can be in there, you know, helping people get to where they want to go.
Chris, on Founders and Mentors, runs a community because we have it's a network of communities. So the groups we've turned into communities.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a microcosm of the main platform.
Yeah.
Chris wants one for creatives, which could include writers. So maybe you two should have a chat about.
I've got lots I could say about.
No, but not about collaborating on.
Sure.
Joining, bringing writers in and you actually running events for them.
Yeah, that would be
there,
amazing.
and then you can bring them over to your one or keep them on there or however you want to do it.
I do. Yeah.
I'll make sure I join.
Amazing.
Okay, we're now sort of running short on time. Is there anything else you want to talk about, idea, before we open up to some questions?
No, I think that's it. I think there's a lot more testing to be done. Anyone that has any opinions, practical opinions, please come at me. Yes.
More of a question. So did you say that your pre-recorded had less interaction than your live?
More.
Okay, so you made it shorter.
It was shorter, yeah.
And they can watch it on demand. And
yeah.
Okay, good to know, because I've got the same problem. Lives drain me completely.
Yeah.
But I get better interaction with lives. Like my website peaks and I sell stuff.
Really? Oh no, I had the opposite.
It's just exhausting.
It's exhausting and very time consuming. And because I'm running everything by myself, which I imagine you are too.
I am indeed,
yeah, it was taking a lot from me. So I do want to go back to lives and I want to figure out how to get more engagement from them. But the short videos helped a lot.
One idea might be to, rather than running it, thinking up all the content yourself, you could interview people who are in your community.
Yeah, also I also want to interview people outside the community that can give them tips. Yeah. Yeah, I've been messaging a lot of people on LinkedIn to see who I can get on a Zoom call.
Sorry.
I imagine the university side of it is a small part of your market. However, a big pressure on universities at the moment is the employability outcomes. So if you could show or test whether people who gain the experience of working with you and win awards actually are more likely to go into what's considered a highly skilled job as a result of working with you, then that would be a great selling point.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is an outcome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Or even, for example, like one of them got build skill. So it's if they then get, if you could maybe you're like
there's two
an
sides to
introduction.
it.
Yeah, so it might be that they want to get into somewhere where they can
I'm going to have to wrap up this session here, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
If there's room 1 or room 26, if you want to, just if people have got questions, if not, come back and join us, please. Right, we've got next up.
Simon, I will be leaving now, sorry.
Lily, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your input. Really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to be working with you on 5th of October. If anybody out there thinks that I'm the classroom assistant, guys, I'm the senior lecturer in accounting and finance. So if you want to learn from my experience, I will be speaking on 5th of October as well. So definitely this technology thing I have learned over COVID while teaching online. So that is not my forte. But if you want to learn what I know, 5th of October is the platform where I will be happy to help you out. Connect with me on LinkedIn and good luck for your afternoon presentations. Thank you.
So Andrea? Andrea, actually, I think she said she was going to be late and we were going to swap around. Joe, are you able to swap your session to now while Andrea's getting here?
I am.
You're a good man. Thank you very much. Thank you. So swap around the schedule. So if you look what we've got here, we're moving Joe up to Andrea's session, and hopefully when Andrea gets here, we can swap that round. So Joe, just first of all, while I'm pulling up your idea, tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea and a bit about your idea.
Yes, thank you, Simon. Thank you for the community and all the support and feedback. So my idea with Dreamload kind of came about with me and some friends networking via LinkedIn. Always just happened to be brainstorming, talking about things, and wanted to try to basically create some sort of vehicle to accomplish these ideas in some form or fashion. We were basically identifying kind of what are the key needs and shortcomings to a lot of these ideas, or people in general who want to come up with stuff. A lot of it is money. A lot of it is a team. There's multiple factors, but we wanted to try to address those two specific needs right off of the bat. So these founders and entrepreneurs won't be as handicapped.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I'm going to now open your data room. You've probably been watching enough of these, so you'll know what questions are coming now. Let me find you. Oh, I've gone too far back. Let me go forwards one more. Data validation. Data rooms. Okay, where are we? Shall we do your lean canvas? You happy doing that?
Sounds good.
Okay, let me open this a bit wider so that everybody can see in the room. So can you see that online, Joe? Can you see the problem, the solution, value proposition, or do you want me to make it slightly bigger?
That's perfect.
Okay, so talk us. So there's two parts here on this first part. There's the problem that you're trying to solve. So what's the problem that you're trying to solve, and what are the existing alternatives? And as we said in the previous session, the existing alternatives are what your customers think are existing alternatives, not necessarily what you think. They can be different things, but this is all focused on customers. So the problem and existing alternatives.
Right. So thank you. As I alluded to earlier, some problems when these founders and startups are looking for their big idea and to try to figure out avenues in order to pursue such ideas. Money is a big issue and a team is a big issue. So again, these people, they may not be as tech savvy, or their business acumen may be, at a zero. So it's important to have these people around you, whether they're in a advisory capacity or someone who you want to share the business with. A lot of these people that we've spoken to, customers, potential customers, would be more than happy to, either give up some sort of, 1 to 10% equity in their company in order to see some results. And these results would obviously be defined right off the bat,
Okay, I got it. And And the places people go now currently to get what you're talking about are the accelerators and the incubators.
Right. So usually what you would want to do as an entrepreneur who kind of has no background in this sort of stuff is you want to, try to speak to any sort of accelerator or incubator. This is where you want to, or your small business association, something like this, in order to try to get as much information as you can in order to maybe, further map out your idea, figure out ways of doing things, talking to certain people. This is a good solution if you're looking for direction, absolutely. So we do want to try to be some sort of accelerator, incubator plus some, if you will.
Yeah, no, I get that. When you say ideas, are these for businesses or a bit like we have with founders and mentors? Are these for founders that haven't really got a business going yet?
So great question. So, we really wanted to try to focus on people just kind of with ideas, but also we've been approached by a lot of people who actually have ideas currently and who just need that extra bump. And whether that bump is, some SEO digital marketing work or customization for their website to make it look a little more sexier. So that's been really, really cool. So I've kind of had to open up my client base, which is really, really cool.
And how would, this is an interesting question actually from my perspective, how does it differ, or how would you put it differently to what we're doing at 12 Ronnies? How would you put it differently to what we've been doing in this startup hackathon and with founders and mentors? Because we're helping start businesses.
Great question. And I think I spoke to Mr. Nigel Greenwood regarding this, because he said this is something that sounded similar to kind of what he does regarding some sort of business. They pair up business people with questions. So essentially, I mean, from the way it looks, how we differ is we not only do what maybe 12 Ronnies does, but we also do plus some. So for example, we're focused on not only building and scaling, but we also want to have some sort of intimate relationship in this business with these founders. So, we want to hang around. We want to help you, and guide you through the process. So it's more than just assembling a team, because this team is going to serve not only as your framework and foundation, but for future guidance. So, I mean, does that differ?
Yes, it does. It does. You're approaching a similar, the same problem with a different nuance to it, I think, because I assume because you're taking equity as well in these startups, is that right? Or the people will be taking equity?
Yes, sir. We'll be taking some sort of equity, either, I've considered profit sharing as well, whatever seems good. Each client, each customer is going to be tailored differently. Like, for example, we're going to have a whole team, in place, whatever, but you may not need a molecular biologist for your startup, for example. So, it's going to be customed.
Okay, I understand. Mario, you got a question? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, there we go. Now, no more. I'm fixed. So I like this idea. Actually, this is how I've been working for the last 20 years. I think, but not as formalized as what you're looking to do. So good for you. I think by developing and creating a team that can help startups and ongoing concerns, I think it's a necessity. From my personal experience, when it comes to startups, I think what you're going to find is that startups, they just don't have the budget, so that you're accepting some sort of equity in that startup. I think that would be a good thing, but you have to be prepared to provide that. When you approach a startups, you're going to have to be prepared to tell them that from the get-go. You're going to have to develop a plan to do that. So that's the first comment. The second comment is, in your shoes, what I would do is I would actually approach the VC community VCs, a lot of them say, well, we've got this sort of background. We know everything there is to know about everything because we've been there, done that, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of that is BS. So I think what you should do is create a marketing plan to approach the VC community and tell them, look, we can help you and your startups as a subcontractor, if you will. And then the third comment I have is when it comes to ongoing concerns, there you'll be able to get money up front. But you'll have to prove yourselves and maybe get some and maybe as you move forward, use those startups that you've already contracted with and use them as your foundation so that next or later on you can go to the ongoing legacy concerns that are having issues. And I'm just very, very briefly, just to finish off, I'm doing that with a company right now. They've hired me to do their marketing, but the owner, and I've run this in the past, 3 weeks in, the owner hasn't been satisfied with what I'm doing. Whether what I'm doing is good or bad is irrelevant. The point being is that you have to be prepared to show these ongoing concerns, what you have done in the past, so that you can shut them up as quickly as possible and you can finish your work that you've been contracted to do. So it wasn't a question, it was just commentary. I hope that was acceptable.
Mario, thank you.
Very valuable, thank you.
I can see you're taking notes there, Joe. Just looking at customer segments, they're again, they're pretty much similar customer segments to 12 Ronnies. So they're similar to startup founders, entrepreneurs. I'd be quite interested to have a look. Have you done a value proposition canvas for one of those customer segments?
I have on the B2B.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting to have a look at, actually. So I'm gonna have a look at your value proposition. It's probably below I'm looking at here. Yeah. Okay, let's make this a bit bigger. So, and let me move the screen up. Fiddling with the screen here, I'm trying to get a few windows going. So what we've got here, so your customer segments, your startup, your entrepreneurs. Now, in terms of their pains, talk us through their pains and their gains. What excites them? What's the gains, and what are their real pains here?
Yeah, so some of the points that we alluded to earlier, some of the pains are going to be just they don't have anybody to hear them out. They don't have a team to basically tell them, hey, this isn't a good idea. We need to look at it from this perspective. Money is an issue. Having someone that you can trust in delivering, as far as, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with something emotional. These are people's ideas. So you actually have to, frame things in a way where it's not, as emotional. So, I mean, that's definitely a pain that our customers are going to experience and have experienced in the past.
There's founders in the room here. So you have a target audience here.
I do.
Do you have these pains?
Absolutely.
Some do, some don't. That's yeah. Any other pains that you think, other than having to work on a Sunday? Knowing where to start, what's next?
Not making decisions.
Options.
Not decisions.
Yeah. Decisions. Yeah. What decisions to make? Decisions. Yeah.
Making decisions about things that someone's partnering with you. They want to try to do this much. Should you give them this? Should you give them that?
Yeah.
What should you give?
What should you do? What should you do?
People think about. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
the big pains.
I speak for myself. Basically, I have a plan, a strategy, and I get in touch, I network with people, I receive the feedbacks, I take notes and everything. One of the only thing that I feel like is on my way, the block, is the money.
So money, yeah.
Money. to move forward with
Okay,
my business.
yeah.
If it wasn't that.
Okay, so money is a big pain. You've identified that one, Joe. That's that. That always comes up actually, money, strangely enough.
Team, I was about to say that.
That is-
Yeah, because
What did you say, team?
your problem.
Yeah, that's what
You need a team.
Yeah.
Team, yeah, team,
Me, team,
yeah.
because one manager.
No, we could have a long discussion here, Joe. There's on the breakout room. I think there's a good discussion here. Because you've got there's a room full of pain here. What about the games? What are these customers saying? What excites you all? What do you think excites? What excites this group of people?
Yeah, so thank you everyone for the feedback. This is very valuable, and 12 Ronnies is I guess an amazing example for this. So thank you for pointing that out. So what excites people is similar to, you know, the excitement that I can hear in the room. Hey, you know, we have somebody that believes in my idea. We have someone that says that they can scale us or do something with us within 1 to 2 years. I have a team that's behind me that's willing to do whatever that needs to be done. And also it's very important too, because if you ever want to get looked at by VCs or angel investors or what have you, any sort of investment, like they want to see a team in place, filling up these circles, that just so that they're confident in that if this ship, goes astray, that somebody on the team is competent enough to be able to steer it back to course. And this is, again, at the end of the day, this is people's monies, people's ideas, people's dreams at the end of the day. So it's very, very volatile. So it requires a lot of attention.
Do you agree with this? Is these the big exciting points? Are there any others, Hannah?
I understand that he's building different teams for different founders. But when I say team, I don't mean like team that knows how to get the funding. Well, that is good itself. But I'm talking about someone who's enthusiastic about what I am, because in different individuals are working on different ideas. So the team that you will be providing to me, are they like excited and do they want to?
Of course, like any business idea, you want excited team members, don't you? And it's not just having somebody that can crunch numbers but doesn't really care about your business.
Go ahead.
No,
hi, Joe, it's Janet. I think one thing that is missing, because I'm looking at your PDF here. One thing that I would need to sell me into this idea is some way for you to build trust. Some way that I believe in you, that I believe in your team, because you're asking for a bit of, my baby, the company that I'm building. So how are you going to evidence that your team is not only qualified, but will be dedicated? Like the comment here, are you going to believe in what I'm doing as much as I am? And how are you, I need to see some bios or some case studies or something like that. That will help.
See, that's a pain. We're talking about pain relievers now. So yeah, absolutely. Trust is such an important word in all of this.
Yes, and thank you so much for these comments. Look, can I address the comment before Janet's? So as far as the team goes, the team is going to be kind of whatever you want it to be, okay? And whoever you want to kind of whoever you think is going to bring you to the next level. So as far as excitement and this, again, I'm trying to bring together like-minded individuals who are hungry and excited to do things. So it's not just going to be, hey, hire, you're going to hire this person, it's very disconnected. No, we're trying to be engaged. Like I said, going back to that one comment, we want to be intimately involved in your business and actually see the pains and the growth and to actually experience everything with you, which is very, very important. And it goes to our customer service as well. To Janet's point, thank you so much. And it's been amazing working with you, to say the least. Honestly, I've learned actually a lot from you specifically, and I know I'm your mentor. So thank you again. To your question, or I'm sorry.
Just peer-to-peer learning. I mean, this is the whole point of what we're doing here, but thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you all. So to kind of go to Janet's point, I really feel like the website should be a good indicator in reflecting this, and it should give you some sort of emotional response in regards to your idea. So how I want to have it set up is almost like a I don't know, maybe the app will look like, like a Tinder or Bumble where you can swipe on, people with bios, the team of professionals, but maybe we have, and it's in the process right now, we should be done by the end of the month. We're going to have pictures of everyone, kind of their expertise, and then also maybe a thing of their, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, we didn't say anything. We're getting tight on time again, Joe. I'm just wondering, have you done any validation experiments? Have you done any tests on your test cards? Have you worked in any of that yet?
Yes, I have.
Can I quickly, before we jump
Absolutely.
on? This value proposition canvas, this is the group of people in Founders and Mentors and in the room here in the Startup Hackathon that have some of these pains and are looking for some of these gains and these jobs to be done. And so what you get here in your value proposition really needs to, they can help you align to them. But let me just have a look at your tests.
Okay.
Just to see so test card. So very briefly, so you've got here, talk us through your test card then. So you're believing that people are willing to give up equity. So this is your hypothesis. They're going to give up equity or profit in order to jumpstart what they're doing. So that's your main hypothesis. And what you're going to do to verify that is poll them to see if that's the case. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you say poll them, so you're going to ask for their opinion. That's an actually, this is an interesting one because this is partly a B2B. It's not a direct, because they're looking at businesses. So the people you're polling are thinking like a business. That could work actually, rather, because it's obviously what you ultimately want to do is get people to sign up and get subscribers, or however your business model is going to be on this, to actually get into your network and how you can develop your network and your community. But yeah, I think polling is a good idea. Can anybody think of any other ways to verify, if you like, Joe's hypothesis about that people are willing to give equity profit?
I would maybe say interviews or more of open questions, because will you buy from me? Yes, no.
Yeah.
You need a little more substance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, potentially you could even be doing interviews or speaking to people that are willing to talk to you about it. Just heard about live streaming on Mighty Networks. We could set up a live stream for you where you could do that, or we could run some events inside the Startup Hackathon. Not just open for you, Joe, but anybody can run events. This could be something you could run here. Grace, did you?
Joe, hi, it's Grace.
Grace.
How are you going to know? Well, how are you going to agree what's best to give away, or what that person might want to give away in profit share or in equity? How do you have a process in place that you're looking at, or how do you come to a conclusion of what to give away?
Yes, great question. So it's going to be as needed or case by case basis, actually. So we're going to have to look at it and meet these founders where they are and where they want to be. Of course, we're not going to do anything that doesn't want anybody, makes anyone feel uncomfortable. This is a hold your hand marathon, not a sprint. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to look at it from a legal standpoint as well, see how we can actually shape these contracts in order to fit and express the true intentions of both parties.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Andrea's here now, so we're gonna have to finish this session. But I think this is a really good community for you to test with.
Very quick.
Okay, quick question.
I just met.
Thank you, Grace.
No. Where's the metrics that the founders can look at it to see if him and his team is qualified to come to my company.
So did you hear that, Joe?
More specific 3 points or 5 points that I can look at it to see if it adjusts.
We've got them. Okay, Joe, did you?
Yeah, real quick, to answer your question, it's almost goes to Janet's question. So everything is supposed to be reflected on the website. We want to be able to showcase kind of what we've done in the past and what we're capable of. So it's going to show all of our skills, our resume, CVs, and then all the projects that we've worked on in the past. So it kind of gives you a bigger picture of what we're capable of. So yes, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. We're going to have some of the questions now.
The breakout room.
Breakout room? Breakout room 1, Joe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
How are you, Sue? A bit of a trouble getting in today.
I did. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Joe sort of stepped in, he ran his session beforehand.
Thank you, Joe.
Inventory management, I like this one.
Yes, oh, thank you.
So just going to call it up so we can see it on screen. And so, Andrea, you've got an idea, you've posted it on here, you've been going through the hackathon process, you've been looking at all these documents, there's so much there, thank you. How did you come up with this idea for an inventory management website?
Okay.
What gave you the idea, and tell us a bit more about the idea?
Sure. Genuinely, I have a business. I'm an inventory clerk. I've been doing it for 7 years. We have an inventory clerk company. So the idea really was breeded out of necessity, like that sort of needs must. I currently pay for a very similar service.
Yeah.
And I have done for many years. So it's always been sort of a vision of mine and a future project that I wanted to have something similar to what I've produced. In actually, bringing this idea to fruition, it came to mind that this is really a need, and almost the business idea was me putting it out to market because I already would need this service.
That's often one of the best ways, by the way, to start a business. If you've got something or if you've got a problem, it's all about a problem, and there isn't a solution other than you have to manually do all this, and you think, oh, I wish there was an easier way of doing this. If you think of an easier way, then that's often a good way to approach a particular problem and a particular solution. So no, I as a background, that's always a good start. Your challenges are to find lots of you.
Yes.
And if there's a big enough market of you, if you're creating a solution for one.
Exactly. And I mean, that's partly why I love the hackathon, because I've always said that, like, if I could have 100 of me, it would be great. But I mean, just being in the network and the amount of support and interest I've got, it's really amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know what an inventory clerk is.
Okay, so basically we provide reports for residential lettings.
Okay.
So I mean, inventory.
Like an inspection.
Yeah, basically. So
Before you let it happen.
before and after, and then those two sort of reports are compared, and it sort of protects the
Any
investment.
damage?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything missing?
Got it. That, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that's what you call that. Thank you.
No, actually, that's really good to sort of define, because I've seen this idea. I'd already got
It's
to.
true, and seriously, this is almost one of the challenges that I have seen since doing all of this has been highlighted. The fact that inventory clerks are sort of, it's not very interesting then if you're not in it, and people don't really know about it. So then our challenges are not really addressed, and all of these things, So I've actually
your audience though, would I, if I didn't know?
I mean, not particularly, and that's what I was getting to. With the fact that I set up.
But on your canvas, then your.
Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Sorry.
Let's have a look at your high concept thing would be the thing that would explain to people what it was.
Yeah, and I must say, sorry, the ones that are complete, it says complete.
Sorry, complete.
Sorry, yeah.
So not a really tidy data room.
Yes, I don't really get my pocket money.
Where is it?
But the high concept, what you mentioned, I actually sort of had an idea, because when I filled it out, you know, it was hard to grasp. But now, thank you for bringing it up. I've thought of the EasyJet of inventory.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I think that's sort of
EasyJet, so you're hiding
yeah, so here it says simple and cost effective. That's when I was really just still mulling over the idea.
Yeah.
But I really do think the EasyJet of inventories is.
But that puts things into the perspective.
The no frills.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, do what we say on the tin.
EasyJet for inventories in the context of lettings, and so you need to yeah. So the problem, what is the problem that you had when you were having to do yourself manually and all of that?
I almost found myself sort of cornered into a situation because starting out as a small business, you may not have enough clients to afford a monthly subscription. So I sort of pay per report, but I have found it to be very costly and, you know, not very.
But Andrea, the problem we're looking at solving is not it. What are you actually solving for the customer?
I'm solving the fact that.
So your customers are startups, SMEs, agents, property managers. What are you actually solving for? What is their problem?
The problem is that you need to provide reports, and it can be costly.
So they need reports on. So their problem is they need reports. So that's a big problem of theirs. And the existing alternatives.
The existing alternatives can be very complicated, they can be costly, and they don't offer a pay-as-you-go sort of fair option.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other problems that these people have? So these agents, which is less property management.
Yeah, I suppose it's about consistency and, you know, also, being able to have an auditable sort of you know, database where you can go back and look over things, even things that repairs and cleaning schedules.
So don't have things in one place.
Yes.
So that's one of the big problems they've got. They just don't have all sort of the audit trail of the inventory in one place. And the solutions that they have out there are costly solutions to do that, or it's just manual bookkeeping. And your solution is, well, clearly if a problem's costly, you're addressing a less expensive solution. But the real problem's about their not having inventory in one place.
Yes. And I'm sort of addressing also, I think the inventory sort of how it is at the moment is almost romanticized. Like, you know, there's information on there that, you know, maybe doesn't need to be. Even myself, I'm very meticulous in my reports. You know, we have loads of pictures, but I think it's a good way to communicate, isn't it? Just be clear, have what it needs to be on the report, concise. And, you know, my business partner, Claudia, he's the person who's designed the website. He doesn't have any sort of industry knowledge. And I think thinking of outside of the box and the way we both have sort of developed this site, it is really straight to the point.
Is there a standardization for these customer segments for inventory? So do property management companies want a standard?
Well, like we
across all property management companies, or across all?
Myself, I'm a member of the AIIC, so we do have standards that, you know, we adhere to. They are, but, you know, inventory clerks can operate outside of that. But, you know, practice.
Okay, and so your solution's a platform to be able to put the audit trail in, all the inventory in a standardized format. What's your unique value proposition, and what would you just thinking about it? Maybe people can help you here with what people think will be a unique value proposition.
I really think the fact that we are offering the pay-as-you-go service and at such a competitive rate is what is going to make us unique. Because I mean, at the moment, as I said, we're really sort of focusing on startups, and it sort of goes along with my personal ethos of, you know, a bit like probably yourself. I would love to see people build their businesses, you know, sort of be along for the ride, make it something great. So yeah, the fact that we're targeting startups and, you know, we have that pay-as-you-go offering.
So it could be something along the lines as the proposition is pay as you go, all in one inventory management and auditing platforms. Pretty long value proposition. Anybody got any other ideas or online that they could say as a value proposition here?
It sounds like you're offering affordability and value. Is
Yes,
that correct?
I would say so.
So then I would probably say that versus the empowering. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd also comment that your customer segments might need a little more refining.
Yes.
Because I'm a startup, but I don't need your services.
Yes.
So I'd probably put it startups in the letting industry. So people need a portfolio of residential letting property.
I do.
Yeah, is that who your customer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
So
this is quite rough.
Yeah.
And I love the canvas, by the way, and I really sort of understand that you can go back to them and use them, you know, again and again, like test cards and so on. But I also got some great feedback. I think it was Maria who really opened my eyes to another segment, being sort of overseas in the US, or any sort of company or project that are managing properties. You know, because they are quite large. I'm even part of a similar, you know, who are managing properties.
But
And
it's
something.
But it's making it clear on here. At the moment, and I think this is really good for us because we've all now had some experience in doing our own canvases, our own PDFs in all of this. We've had a look at other people's. I wouldn't say we're experts now, but we're going along the right direction here. And I think here for Andrea, we can help her here. It's.
Mario did have his hand raised as well. Actually.
I'm loath to put Mario on yet because he's going to be speaking for the next 20 minutes. So not yet, Mario.
Thank you, Mario.
we can give you a comment, a chance in a minute. Which other document have you done? Any tests? Have you done any?
Yeah, I have started a complete test card. But unfortunately, we wasn't able to finish our testing. So the system is actually up and, you know, it was ready to test.
That's so you built the system itself already?
It's ready. But, you know, at the time of doing this, I did invite 20 people to test, and I can report that more than 3 people agreed to test. But at the time, the system,
okay, well,
things happen.
No, it's fine. I mean, what we're trying to do here is not even test the system. What we're trying to test is your idea,
and that's
whether letting agents or companies that have multiple properties, this is something they're interested in because of your value proposition.
And that's what even on the way here, I was thinking about that. Even though we wasn't able to test it at the time, it still sort of proved, you know, what it needed to, because I did have that interest. In fact, more than what I, you know, hypothesized. So I'm really happy.
No, my suggestion here is that you actually, with these cards and what we're working on here, is that you get some help from the community on this Startup Hackathon community. People know you now, and you maybe put up your canvas. You have another go at the canvas about what things we talked about, and see if we can get some feedback. I think that's as much help as we can give Andrea on the setup of that, because we don't know whether it's a good idea yet or not. We'll only start to know when you collect, or you'll only start to know when you collect data. And you've actually made the system, so you've jumped ahead in one way, you've jumped ahead because you've actually made the product or your MVP or your actual product, but it's still not too late to test
I definitely
the market.
So what is SIM or SIM?
Oh, sorry, it's the name of my product is Simple Inventory Management. It's actually my mum's name as well. Yeah, Simple Inventory Management. I think it's a really good name. It actually describes, you know, what we do on the tin. Yeah.
Brilliant. Andrea, thank you very much. Thank you. That's really good. Oh, sorry, we've got Anna. I didn't realise that you're on the call. There's a question from Anna. Glasses on to read it. From mentoring, Andrea, I would also add flexibility to the UVP. MVP goes in line with customer service.
Oh, thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to add that in the discussion. Hi, everyone. That this is what we have discussed in our mentor sessions with Andrea, that the current systems that they have to use are very inflexible. So if you have made some error or you need to adjust anything in the report, you need to create a new one and pay for that. And what Andrea is creating is more flexibility there to adjust those reports as you go. So I think there's a value there in the market, for the users.
That's really good. And Anna, have you any experience with inventory management systems or letting agents or anything like that?
I do not.
Right. Okay. Just wondering on the actual sector, if anybody actually also has experience with the particular customer segments that Andrea's targeting, it would be good to give her some feedback about this, and or at least let her know so that she can find out more information from you. So, and good to see you, Anna. Thank you very
Likewise,
much.
Simon, even though you're very small there, I see you very far away.
I'm really small in the picture.
Well, at least I see your screen and the other speaker, so that's great as well.
Great. Andrea, if you have any question for Andrea, she'll be in breakout room 1, which is 26 in here, if you have any questions, or come back in if there aren't questions. Right, so we've got the final presentation of our weekend. We've got Mario coming on now. So again, an online one in the room. Let me get prepared for you, Mario. So let me find your idea. It's Mystery on Main Street, isn't it?
That's correct.
Let me find it. Here we go. Mystery on Main Street. I like the title. Okay, and let me just get to the right data room for you. Mario. Where are we?
Yeah,
there we go. Thanks, Mr. Main Street. Mario, over to you. Tell me or tell us about your idea, about your motivation for it, where it came from. Give us a little bit of background in the room here and on Zoom.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's a great pleasure and an opportunity for me to be able to speak about this publicly and let everyone give me their ideas. I truly and sincerely would appreciate your ideas and your thoughts, positive or negative. That'll just serve to help me. And I want to particularly thank Simon and 12 Ronnies. This is an absolutely fantastic platform. So you deserve a round of applause, which I'm sure you'll get at the end of all this. And maybe a bottle of wine from Alina, I don't know, but anyway.
Wine. Italian wine, sorry.
So this came about because I live in a small little town called Lake Mary, and that's in Florida. And it's about 16,000 people. Like so many small little towns, you've got a central park, and surrounding the central park, you've got a bunch of stores, people selling their wares, and shops and little cafes and such. So I was in this central park one day and on a bench, and I can't recall why I was there, but I was there. This was 2017, about the beginning of 2017. And I happened to notice this woman, maybe in her 60s, get out of her car. She gets on her phone, nothing special about it, but I saw her get on it, immediately goes to her phone and starts running around the park. And she caught my attention just from what she was doing. The whole time she was looking at her phone. And after a while, I saw this young kid, I'm going to say maybe either a teenager or very early 20s. He gets out of a car, he sees it, they wave each other. So I figure it was a grandson. But then I see other people coming, and they're all doing the same thing. They're all looking at their phone, and they all just run around looking all over the place. And this is really got me curious, because you got these people coming out of their cars and getting together, and then they all go and they gather around this tree. So I'm saying, whoa, tree people. They've gathered around a tree, now they're talking to a tree. I caught my attention, of course, so I went up to him. I said, so what are you doing? And one of them says, Pokemon.
Yeah.
I didn't say Pokemon. So I had heard of Pokemon because they'd just come out. Just again, this is the beginning of 2017, and Pokemon had just come out in end of 2016. So as they're telling me Pokemon, I remember looking at all the stores around me and having a pretty basic concept or idea of the concept of Pokemon. I said, wouldn't it be great, instead of people getting out of their cars and gathering around a tree, if they would get out of their cars? Wouldn't it be great if somebody came up with the idea of people going into all these stores and maybe give them some business? This is pre-pandemic, by the way. So these companies are losing business to online. So it wouldn't be great if somebody came up with this. Thinking about it some more, I said, ooh, maybe I'm the guy who could come up with this idea. So that's exactly how this started, all pre-pandemic.
Wonderful. I mean, that's really good. So this is about local stores. This is about not online. It's about physical locations. It's
correct. It's all about.
It's communities, isn't it?
It is. It's very much community oriented. The whole idea the whole idea behind Mystery on Main Street is to get people out of their homes, out of buying from Amazon and eBay and Etsy and all of those, and going back to buying at the local store, at the local shop, eating at the local restaurant instead of having it constantly catered to you. It's a great way to build up the business.
How does the gameplay work? How does it get them into the stores then?
So the way you get into the store is before I even really quick, I want everybody to think about something I'm about to tell them is, I mean, typically I would ask, what is your belief of the amount of people that would prefer to buy online as opposed to going into the store? And I'll tell you that number. It's 87, and I have data on all this. I have all the data. 87% of us would prefer to go to a store physically as opposed to buying online. So keep that number in the back of your head. 87% of shoppers will go out and buy local. So the way it works is, if you can see my phone, an individual would download the game on their phone, and once they'll see that there are what's called game plays in their local community, or maybe some other community anywhere around the world. But in their local community, they'll click on the app, they'll see that there's a local gameplay, and in that gameplay, you might have maybe 100 different merchants that are participating in that particular gameplay. Now, each gameplay has a story behind it. It could be maybe some local folklore, could be something of some historical significance, but the whole idea is to solve a mystery. So once these 100 stores and shops and restaurants come out, you will be able to take a look at that, and there's some information about each one. So let's say you're in the need for some shoes, and you say, there's 3 different shoe stores here. So what do? You were going to go to buy shoes anyway. So now you go to one of these shoe stores that happen to be selling your sports shoes. Once you're inside the store, you click on the app again, and a little augmented reality character pops out of your phone and says, what can I do for you? And that maybe, and you say, I'm here to solve the mystery. And then all of a sudden you'll see another drop down list of a bunch of clues that you can pick from. So you pick on a particular clue, and that augmented reality character says, wait here, I'll be back to you in a few, or something to that effect. So for the next 5 minutes, you're inside the store. So if you're inside a store, inside a restaurant for 5 minutes, what are you going to do?
You're going to possibly purchase things.
That's exactly it. So that's the buy-in, if you will, for the merchant. So after 5 minutes, the character comes back and says, you were right.
Mario, I have to pull through your documents now because we're sort of getting closer to but just wanted to understand the concept, because it's bringing out the actual concept of the gamifying of getting people into stores. I think it's the real value here. So just really quickly, the problem and the existing alternatives of getting people into stores, like, or whatever the problem is.
So you're on, I'm looking at my screen. So you're on Lean Canvas.
Can you see what's on Zoom at the moment? The screen.
Yeah, I can. It's just easier on my own. That's why I asked. You're on Lean Canvas, or?
We're on the Lean Canvas. We're looking at the problem section.
Yeah. Okay. So
what customers perceive are the alternatives right now?
Yeah. So the biggest problem actually with Mystery on Main Street is not so much getting to the customer base. The customer base is the local retailer, the local store, local shop. The biggest problem in actuality is this is a whole brand new concept for the local. Well, let me see. Forgive me. The biggest problem for these local stores and local retailers is they're seeing that their neighbors closing down with bankruptcy signs.
They're not getting the footfall, are they?
What's that?
They're not getting the footfall either, are they? Now with online, they're not getting as many people going through them.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's what I was saying before. Actually, 87% of people prefer to go buy locally as opposed to getting online. So what's happening is, it's not so much that people aren't visiting them, is that they're not marketing properly in order to get people to visit them. What's happening is that they're using essentially old systems like Facebook or Google Ads, that they have to place ads and hope, or maybe Valpak, which are coupons, which is a method for individuals in a local community at least see or find out about this business, but it doesn't really bring anyone to the business like Mystery on Main Street does. Mystery on Main Street.
We're just going to keep the answers reasonably short, because we're right at the end of the day now. We've got about 10 more minutes on this.
Yeah.
Your unique proposition, your unique value proposition. So just talk us through that and the high level concept, because I think
So as I mentioned here, there's absolutely no other direct marketing or advertising program in the market like this. Think of this as Groupon meets Scavenger Hunt meets Pokemon. The whole idea is, what makes it very unique is that we are bringing people into the store, so that and we're essentially forcing the person to shop inside the store. There's no other service that provides this of pinpoint direct marketing and advertising.
And the high level concepts, Groupon meets Scavenger Hunt and Pokemon Go. That's quite sort of clear for people. That puts the explanation into a particular sort of box or sort of category. In terms of your customer segments, so it's more than just stores, isn't it? And local stores. It's quite interesting. You've got some different customer segments for this.
Yeah. So customer segments is essentially any walk-in business. So yeah, it's going to be the local retailer. It's going to be the cafe, the restaurant, the bakery, the real estate office, even the dentist office that has walk-in traffic, the car dealer.
Yeah.
Anyone that has walk-in traffic that greets individuals, that's the business. That's the market.
And the early adopters are really the local community retail stores here. And actually, they're all probably early adopters, or a lot of them are.
Yeah, all of the ones that all of the above actually would be early adopters.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at your value proposition canvas, because that'll be quite interesting to see how with this customer segments. I think we all know the customer segments, the local stores, and
yeah. So the value proposition here is it's increased business, increased customer traffic, increased revenue, and market share. So how is this all verified? It will be verified by pinpoint data. In other words, once somebody downloads the application, we absolutely will not track that person whatsoever at all outside of during gameplay. We don't have to, because what the application does, every single person who downloads the app, they must give us specific information: their name, their phone number, their address, their age. The reason that we require that is because once they solve the mystery, they're going to get a check for $250, $500, $1,000. Could be any number. It could be at any number. But the point being is that these people are going to have to verify who they are in order to get that cash. In order to get that cash plus other prizes that we'll be giving. So because I'll have the pinpoint demographics on that person's data, at the end of the day, I'll be able to crunch that data and determine that out of 100,000 people that played that particular day, 10,000 of these were women.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that 70, for whatever reason, who knows, 7,000 of those 10,000 women all happen to fall within the age of 25 and 35. So now what happens? Now I can go to any sort of business that markets and targets women that are 25 to 35 and tell them, hey, I've got data that tells me the best time to reach your target market is on Thursday evenings between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Why they all decide to go out just between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, I frankly don't care.
Mario, I can actually see if people are playing the game, how much data you can collect for these retailers. I mean, it's just invaluable data for them, because there's the big advantage of online is it's really easy for online retailers to collect data and to be able to target properly.
And not only, forgive me, I'm sorry, Simon, real quick, Simon, not only the retailers, but the brands. So the Perry Ellis clothing manufacturer, the tire manufacturer, this is the data that they want.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I can see that the brands want to be able to know where to sell things. There's a ton of questions coming your way, so let's open up to some questions, Mario.
No, I just wanted to know, because you mentioned the brand, would he be able to know what they purchased? Or did I miss that? Sorry.
So the question was, would you be able to know what's purchased in store?
We probably could, and the reason I say that is because we'll be able to, if that store owner allows us to connect to their system. In other words, part of our software, if we decide to create it so that we can connect to their purchasing system, yes. But we really don't care at this juncture, but it's a great idea. We really don't worry about the specific product that they bought. We just worry about what that retailer's sales were the month before and the year before, so we can compare the data from the sales of the month that we're playing the game, that the game is running in their store.
Before I go to there's lots of questions in the room. GDPR also sprung to me. It's a big question about the data. In Europe, GDPR is a big thing. I don't know whether you've given it some thoughts about the data in GDPR.
Actually, I have. If you look inside my supporting files, I'll have the specific numbers to that. I can't remember what it is, but it's a whole bunch.
Just wondered what just your thoughts on it's being looked at. And Mark's also put, if people are going to a store because of the game, doesn't that distort the data?
It would distort it positively, right? Because it's the people because now that we've created this new method of people going to the stores, that yes, the chances are it will increase it. So we're basing our numbers on what's available now.
But I think what Mark's getting to is they're not going to the store necessarily to purchase the product. That might be a side benefit outcome of it.
Well, there's that possibility. They might be going to the store just to play the game, but keep in mind, as I said before, you might have 100 different participating merchants and retailers. So if in that 100 there's 3 shoe stores and the individual decided to hit those 3 shoe stores as opposed to the other 97, chances are it's because they're looking for shoes.
Yeah. Okay. Emma?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is, I believe Pokemon, they were using satellites to target different areas around the world. So do you have connection with the satellite people, maybe NASA or something? And my other question is, oh, I forgot.
So the satellite one first of all.
Yeah,
So
satellite for
satellites.
So our location technology will work off of GPS, GPS technology. So our application will have the ability to map out GPS technology in the phone itself. So not only will we be able to follow or make sure that the person is inside that location, actually map it out. So that if they don't know where it is, they can just hit the tap on the address of the place and boom, it'll take them straight there. And really quickly, it won't just be on 5G technology. I want to go back on 4G technology as well. So I don't want to leave out people because they have a 10-year-old phone like moi.
Chris.
Yeah, a couple of things. Firstly, it strikes me that if you've not watched the milkshake video, you should watch that, because it's all about market research from McDonald's, and they found out that people bought milkshakes at 8 o'clock in the morning because they were driving to work and needed something to sustain them. So you know, you could discover those kinds of patterns using this kind of thing. The more substantial thing is that essentially the only way that people are going to go into the physical shops in the future is if they're having some kind of experience, because otherwise they'll buy things online. So what you could do as a I guess pain reliever is that it's a way of getting people to actually go into physical shops as opposed to buying things online.
So I thought, yeah, maybe I answered that part at the very beginning. Again, the data states, I've got the data. I've got data that shows that 87% of people prefer to go buy personally as opposed to going online. 87%. And I'll be more than glad to tell you where I got that data.
I think that's important.
Yeah,
there is a trend for people to shop online. So,
do we have any online questions? Anybody from the online audience that?
On the service be able to handle.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Lorraine. Pam, will your service be able to handle the increase as more people join the game?
Sure, without question. That's all back office server. In fact, that was the biggest issue. Without getting too much into it, the biggest concern I had was once we turned this thing on, that at the very beginning, I want to have about 5 to 7 pilot sites around the country at no cost. So once we do this, I feel that we're gonna get massive interest nationwide, because we want to make sure that our marketing efforts will be nationwide. So I want to make sure that the servers can handle this once.
What stage are you with the app, with the technology? Where are you with it at the moment?
Right now, it's all pre-seed. It's all pre-seed. That said, the very first, I had a partner. There was a first.
No, I just wondered whether there was an MVP out there. No, it's okay.
Yeah, the other thing was, I was one of the people who were walking about central London, and
yeah.
So I was wondering, do you know the reason why Pokemon has to go on with that? Because when they launched the gamification, it was for people to walk more instead of staying at home and not doing much. So do you have like?
So is there any reason that Pokemon didn't continue or hasn't made the strides forward? Because Bama used to hang around trees back in the day.
So I think, keep in mind, Pokemon was essentially just a game. Here, there's much more to it. There's gain here. There's gain in the sense that yes, you can make money. With Pokemon, that wasn't the case. You can make money here. The app is free. You're helping the local community by increasing local business. So there's a lot more reasons for. Plus, well, if you look at the supporting files, you'll see it. We have it planned out for all the additional benefits of playing this as opposed to a typical game. But the quick answer is, we're more than just a game. We're a method to increase the local market share for the community and to put money in your own pocket as a player.
Thanks, man. Chris, last question, and then I think we've got to start wrapping up now.
Are you going to have league tables? And secondly, are you going to also give points to people who continue to go back to the same shop? So it's like a repeat thing, like you're going to the same butcher every week. So
So once you've gone to a particular shop, there's no reason to go back. Now, that being said, we are going to work with the shop owners. We are going to work with the restaurateurs, etc., to create marketing programs for them so it incentivizes people to go back. In other words, coupons, discounts, that sort of thing. So people will go back to them as often as they possibly can. As far as the app is concerned, no, there's no incentive for someone to go back to play the game, because we want them to discover as many of these shops as possible, because obviously I want them to go while they're playing the game. But in reality, I just want them to go, period, because the shop owners will realize, hey, last month I had $10,000 in revenue. This month I've got $15,000 in revenue because of the game.
Brilliant. Mario, thank you very, very much. This is a really good idea for communities, whether the data shows it's going to work in terms of the customer data and you get the signups. I don't think we're clear yet on that. So I don't think we're clear on, I think we're clear on who it will benefit, and there's so many benefits around the proposition. You probably need to collect a little bit more, let's say, behavioral data that the stores are going to sign up to this. But I'm sure you're collecting that. But I personally, I really like the idea, because local communities are having a really hard time with online, and it's only going in one direction. And gamifying things always works. And so to bring online to local is quite good. So Mario, thank you very much.
A pleasure. Is there a breakout room in case anybody wants to come to me personally, or?
Yeah, we're sort of wrapping up here. So what I was actually going to say is, after this, if you want to join Mario, he'll be in room 1 online. And if people want to talk to him, he'll be in the room next door. But I just want to wrap up for everybody at the hackathon here. To first of all say thank you for all coming, participating, properly getting involved. It hasn't just been me chatting and talking, and it's been a proper workshop. It's been proper interactive. We've done an awful lot on this, not just today and yesterday, but you worked hard through the summer. A lot of you worked hard well before that, but you specifically done the things that we've asked you to do, including keeping tidy rooms. But you can see that it's a process. That entrepreneurship isn't this mystical, oh my gosh, I've got an idea and produce something and will it happen? There is actually a process to it. There is a scientific way. There is an art to it as well, but this is the scientific approach. So you want a combination of things. I will say though, the most important factor in all of this isn't factored into this part. It's luck. It's like the rest of life. I'm sorry to bring that bad news. The good news in terms of luck is you've probably never been in a better time in history to launch businesses, to launch startups. There's a lot of opportunity. You've got global connectivity. We'll be running our next Founders Festival on local to global. There's a lot of ways to start things. And those of you in London, you're in a centre, large centre of expertise and buyer markets and all of these things. So it's so you're not in an unlucky space, given that luck's the most important thing.
Also, I mean, the Woody Allen quote about 80% of life is showing up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like in terms of your luck, if you stick at it and you've got stamina, you increase the chances.
Yeah, and what we've been testing here isn't just the ideas. I think you can fundamentally see we're testing the entrepreneurs. The people that dropped out earlier on, they might turn out to be great entrepreneurs, but they're not ready right now. And you've been testing the effort that you're putting in. You're collecting, you're doing the business work now, just the customer stuff, before you actually really take the risk. So the risk and uncertainty, you're just diminishing all the way through it.
Yeah, I've been told that, Mark. So I've got to go now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nice seeing you.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, okay. We'll try and keep on focus on this. So I just wanted to, again, thank everybody. This isn't the end of the hackathon. This is the end of the hackathon weekend. If you look on screen, all of you, we have this community. We have Ideas Nest. We have some tools here. You've got data rooms, and the people watching that want to launch business, want to launch ideas, you have all these facilities available to you. You have data rooms you can get hold of. You've got a place to put them, Ideas Nest. You've got a whole community of mentors to help you launch businesses, and it won't cost you. We're doing this for free. So there's an awful lot there. And for those of you in the hackathon, continue in this community. There's the broader network, but there's in this community, help each other. You can see the value in helping each other. Put up your PDFs. If you're not sure that you've got your lean canvas right, or a particular section of it right, put it up there and see if somebody can help you. Somebody other than me can give you some feedback on this.
So that's like an editorial thing. Why don't you slightly rename the community and just take the data out? I just call it Startup Hackathon.
Because we're going to be running lots of different hackathons.
No, I know, but
and I just wanted this to be not just a Startup Hackathon, but to be this particular one.
No, I know for this event, but it's going to continue.
Yeah, and we're going to have lots of different startup hackathons that are going to be sector specific, because what we've seen, and I saw quite a lot of work yesterday, there were ideas around for teaching maths, for teaching English, and then the cross-pollination worked quite well. One of the really good things that happened yesterday was the cross-pollination of ideas. Now we've got that in terms of the number of people in the community, so we can start to do cross-pollination. So test people. There's a whole community out here that are willing to help you. So post. It's not me posting. You've got the facility within the Startup Hackathon to put your own polls, to put your own PDFs up there and ask for comments, to schedule your own events. Run an event. Do it. Try and get people involved. The facility's there. So thank you very, very much for everybody coming in. Thank you, ARU London and Lorraine and everybody.
Well, thank you very much. I really want to say a big thank you, Simon, Chris, Jake, all of your mentors. You've added so much value to all of our students and beyond. It's been truly inspiring to be here, and hear the ideas. But people wouldn't have got to this point without all the support. I mean, this is 2 days. But a huge amount of work has been going in, over the sort of weeks and months building up to this. So sincere thanks for what you're doing. It's great to partner with you because you're adding all this value that would be really difficult for us. And we're really, really pleased to be able to host you and to welcome people here. So it's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Share, stop recording. Right.